Guys, welcome to another Sunday night stream where we're here to hang out with you guys, BS a little bit, take a look at your work, see if we can help you out in any way, shape, or form. Now, again, I like to start off every live stream by letting everybody know that we're here to help. Oh, let me mute myself over here. Again, guys, I just want to say thank you for being here. I appreciate you spending your time, your evening this Sunday, hanging out here with us. If you're watching right now, would you mind giving the stream a like, help boost it a little bit, whatever it is that the algorithm wants to do for the day, we'll live with that. But no less, guys, we're just here to help you guys out, hang out with you, answer any questions you have along the way. If you guys want to send your work in to get looked at, and again, you can call it a critique, you can call it a couple sets of eyeballs to try to look at your work, tell you what we think, and whatnot. I encourage everybody to have some thick skin here, guys, because we definitely don't want to candy coat too much. There's a time I definitely hate beating people down. I don't like to beat people down when they're learning because it can just completely stunt everything. But at the same time, there has to be a level of honesty. And you got to be willing to take a little bit of that honesty and progress yourself along. Just because somebody says something's not good or this is busted or that's broken or, hey, this is – it doesn't mean that they're the bad guy and everything's horrible. It just means, hey, maybe that's where I need to button it up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? You got to constantly try to keep pushing ourselves. That's it. You got to stretch ourselves, try new things, not be fearless. I mean, be fearless. Don't be fearful, okay? Because there's something great on the other end of fear. So anyhow, we're here to help you guys out. Nonetheless, Andy will be here shortly. He's just running a little bit behind. No worries, guys. No worries. Again, give the stream a like if you're hanging out. So what do we want you guys to send in? Okay, so send in your work to the email scrolling at the bottom of the screen. But we have to have a reference. So if you're going to send your work in, I need the reference. Okay, there's nothing we can really do for you if we don't have a reference photo. So send a reference photo in. Maximum of 3 tattoos. So if you're going to send tattoos in, please don't send all the tattoos you have. 3 tattoos, okay? That's the max. I'd really like it if you just send in 1 or 2. But if you're going to send them in, if you want us to look at them, we have to have a reference. Again, that's for your benefit and for mine because there could very well be something you did in the tattoo, and it's like, why is that so off? But then we have the reference to go, okay, that makes sense. Good on you. Let me know again. I got the air conditioner running. If that's super loud, let me know. If not, great. I'd love to keep it on. It is a bit warm here today. That's one thing you guys can do. The second thing you can do, if you'd like to, is we're always meeting our subscribers. So if you're a subscriber and you're here and you want to send in a photo of yourself so we can know who you are, put a name to a face, and tell us a little bit about yourself, that will be awesome. The third thing you can do is maybe you have a tattoo that you spent your hard-earned money on it and you just want to send it in, have us look at it. We're not going to critique it. That's not what we would do to something like that. But maybe you got a cool story to go along with it. Tell your story, show us your tattoo. That'd be fun as well. Just something entertaining along the way. So anyhow, that's that. Again, Andy will be here shortly. So I just want to get all the blah, blah, blah stuff out of the way. Another thing before we get into this is our move to Texas is coming up soon. We're going to be leaving here in about, the 27th, 28th of July. The truck is going. We're moving. It's going to be a 2-day trip to get to Texas just because we're only going to drive for 11 hours a day. And we'll be in Texas, I think, the very end of July, maybe the 1st of August, whatever that equates to. So if you are thinking about getting a tattoo from me, I know I've been hit up a few times, not a ton. And we will be in Texas and hopefully established somewhere down there in a shop somewhere in the San Antonio region. And hopefully we'll be taking appointments, I'd like to say by the end of August. But again, there's a lot to do down there, guys. There's a lot getting a house, getting everything figured out. It's definitely a huge leap of faith. We are definitely walking out into nothing. That's kind of how it started with this channel. It's kind of how it started with my story. I've been sharing it my entire journey here on YouTube, the good, the bad, the ugly. And if you guys want to follow that, because we're going to be, kind of taking you on the ride because it's a whole new journey for me. It's a whole new journey for my family. And I'd love to share that with you guys so you can see, hey, what's it like? what's it going to be like? What kind of challenges are we going to face along the way? So if you aren't already, you can follow me on Instagram. Hopefully I'll be sharing some stuff over there via the story setup. And then obviously we'll make some videos and share it that way as well. But again, just wanted to share, keep you guys updated with what's going on. If you're watching this and you're in this area where I'm at here in Ohio, we're totally booked up. So we can't take any more appointments. It's been that way for a while, but I figured I'll just put it out there because we do get a lot of messages about that. Anyhow, so let me go ahead and say hello to some of y'all before we get this thing going, before we start taking a look at your work. Again, send your work to the email scrolling at the bottom of the screen. It's a first come, first serve basis kind of a thing. There's only about 25 people here, so I think we're going to be safe today, guys, to get through everything, to get through all the emails, and to have a little bit of fun, BS, and answering any questions that you have along the way. So let's see what we got. Jason in the house here. Danik, good to see you. Irish, what's going on, man? I hope you're doing all right, dude. Let's see who else we got. Hello from the Netherlands. What is going on? I'm gonna try not to butcher this. Taniki. My last name's Luce, and everybody calls me Luce. So I totally get it. Smoke, welcome, brother. Thanks for being here early, man. It was good to chat with you. Hope everything goes well with the hand and everything else. It's been good to see you working, bro. Who else we got here? We got John. What is going on, John? Art Scribed. Good to see you here. Mad Have Art. Who else we got here? Danik in the house, man. Gotta have Danik, man. Danik's he's the boss at work, so he can be here apparently. Mike from Georgia, welcome, man. Smoke again. Good to see you. Rob is here. What's going on, Rob? Hi from France. We got Leroy. Leroy, great to see you. Let's see what's it say. I can't see the whole name. I'm gonna throw it up on the screen because I want to see the whole thing. Let's kiki with key. Let's kick it with key. Email scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Yes, that is the question for Nelson Cabez. Nelson, we're just going to go with Nelson because I can read that. How do I send him my work? Email at the bottom of the screen. Again, have to have a reference photo. We're really not going to look at it because we need to know what you're working off of to have any idea or way to help you guys out. Okay, so make sure you have a reference photo. What else we got? We got Torrens. It's been a while since I've shared. Just sent an email. Torrens, awesome. Thank you for having the cojones to do so because, again, you're putting yourself out there. You're stepping out in fear. Well, there's fear. But, again, you're stepping out and you're sending it because we're going to be honest with you. So if it's, good, bad, you're going to hear it. So anybody that sends work in, I give you a lot of credit for doing so because it's a scary thing to do. And I understand, right? So we try to be respectful, but at the same time, we're just a couple of guys and a couple opinions. So you take that if you want that or throw it away if you don't. It's totally fine. Again, people critique me all the time without my even asking. So I get it. The Dope Arts 99. How is it going, man? How is it going? All right. Who else we got here? Brandy, welcome from Pennsylvania. Man, you're right next door. Let's see. What do we got? Glad to see you doing great. Good luck on your move to Texas. Hey, thank you, Art. Thank you. It's the craziest thing. I say this all the time. People ask, like, so you know where you're living in Texas? Nope. Do you know where you're working in Texas? Nope. It's a huge leap of faith to just walk out and say, you know what? It's going to happen. It's going to work out. I got faith. You know what I mean? Oh, and we got Andy here, the tattoo studio. On my way, guys. Running late. No worries, Andy. We're just shooting the whatever here with the chat. Once Andy gets in here, we say hello to Andy for a little bit, and we're going to jump in and take a look at your guys' work. Again, if you're just jumping in, give the stream a like. What else we got here? My bad. Sent my email with 5 pictures before you say to only send 3. It's okay, Jake. It's fine. We'll look at a few of them. But again, Jake, you got to send references with them. We need references or there's nothing for us to really do, okay? We're moving away from just looking at the work because without it, it's really hard. Throw away the opinions. Just like Amazon fake skin. Ain't that right, Danick? You loving the new hobby. Good. And just enjoy it for what it is. You're working on fake skin, Irish. Just enjoy it. Soak it up, man. Don't be in a rush. I think that's the biggest problem a lot of us had. I know I did. Is just realizing that it's not a rush. It's not a rush. There's no prize at the end of this thing. You're just going to be in better shape. The more time you take, the more you really put into it. Because everyone's going to progress at different speeds. You're going to see somebody like boogieing right along. You're like, what the heck is going on here? What am I doing wrong? To be fair, they might artistically have it figured out further along than some other people. That's okay. You're moving at the pace you're moving at, okay? That's it. And you got to keep your sanity along the way. What we got here? Skylar says, first time sending something in, really trying to improve. That's awesome. And again, as I always say, kudos to you for sending something in because, again, it takes a lot to just let somebody take a look at your work, show it to people, because I know we always love what we do. Yeah, I go back to a lot of my work. I'm like, man, I was really proud of that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you start to see more of your flaws the further you progress. So when somebody said something before, it was like, what do you mean? But easily you can look at it now and totally understand what they meant. So, and I hope to definitely be able to do the same, always looking back, seeing where you improved and where you could improve. So again, thank you. Look at my pace. I haven't done a work in 3 months. Frigging son. Hey, man, it's happening, though. It's happening. I seen what you were doing, Smoke. It's happening. Lots of new people in the chat. I know this is fantastic. We don't have a huge amount of people watching tonight, but there's different people watching tonight. There's different people interacting tonight. That is incredible. That's incredible. I love it. I love it, love it. So in the spirit of waiting for Andy and just taking our time here, guys, I'm sorry, we're not in a crazy rush. I thought we would look at our thumbnail photo, okay? Talk about this. Why is this here? Guys, we've used this thumbnail before. If you didn't already know, I've gotten lazy when it comes to making thumbnails sometimes. I go to church on Sunday, I hang out with my mom, I get home, and it's like, oh, yeah, got to get ready for the live stream, got to put a thumbnail together. So, again, but when I was looking for a photo to put up here, this one caught my eye again, and I was just like, you know what? I know I used it before, but we've been talking about faces and whatnot, and this is one of those moments where there were some things they did right here, but man, oh man, you got to be careful because every mark you make in a portrait is not the same as making a mark on a leaf or adding an extra blah, blah, blah. In a face, you add an extra bit, boom, you just totally changed it. I could even get past some of the chin stuff, a little of the cheek stuff, but this, whatever happened up here, man, that just really misshapen this poor guy. I feel bad for the person who has it. Hopefully they've done something with it. If not, hey, whatever. But nonetheless, this one made the thumbnail again just because it shows how a bunch of little things can add up to a mistake. And if you're not ready to do something, you shouldn't. We all need to push ourselves, myself included, but sometimes it's okay to say no. If somebody wants a colored portrait, I will tell them no. Hey, I'm sorry. Or not no, just that, hey, I don't do those. If you want it in black and gray, I'll give you my very best, whatever that equates to, but I will do my best because I understand a little bit of black and gray. I love doing color, but I don't have the confidence or the understanding or the practice to do a color portrait. So that's something I'm going to say no to, okay? So just know yourself. Be smart. Don't take unnecessary risks because then you end up with something like this. Then it could be on the internet and what have you, all right? So anyhow, figure we get that out of the way as usual. Let me just check a look at how many emails we have coming in. Okay, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 emails as of now. So again, if you guys are watching out there, get those in while you can. I think we're going to be okay. Again, there's like 35 people watching, so I think our numbers are low enough tonight that we're going to be able to get through all the emails sent in, assuming a bunch of late people don't jump in and do anything too crazy. What is Andy doing, Danik? Let's take a look at that. Andy is finishing up his pudding. Yeah. A few pills from his nurse, then he'll show up. Yeah, he's waiting for the bus to come pick him up and bring him on out. It's okay. We'll wait. We're not in any rush, guys. It's Sunday. Just relaxing. What do we got up here? What do we got? Skylar says, been watching since I was an apprentice. Learned so much from you. Always recommend new artists to your channel. Well, I really appreciate that, Skylar. And that's really fantastic that, are you still apprenticing? Have you finished your apprenticeship? Are you working? How was your apprenticeship? Love asking you guys questions because everybody comes from a different walk of life and we can all learn something from somebody else's story or situation. So if you feel like sharing anything in the chat along the way, please do. What do we got here? I need an artist feedback. Yeah. And again, the feedback that we can give, I guarantee you could probably give your tattoos to just a random couple of people, and they could probably help you out as well. Eyes don't lie sometimes. I let my wife looks at everything, and she finds things I don't even find because sometimes our eyes just don't see that. We're focused on something else, and bam, there's this like mistake right there in the open. You're like, oh my goodness, how have I made this mistake? It's just another set of eyes. Okay. Some things are going to be obvious tonight, guys. Some things are going to be obvious. It's going to be like, man, those lines are bad. Hey, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Other things, not so much. But again, keep an open mind. Don't kill the messengers here. Nonetheless. Am I missing something? Why can I not find the email? Wait, where'd it go? It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Maybe what you're on is not showing the bottom of the screen. I will type it into the chat right now. artmesomething@gmail.com. There it is. I just put it into the chat, so hopefully you can see it there. Real quick, Irish says, how good should you be to apprentice, or do they prefer sculpting you themselves? Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of apprenticeship is you're coming to learn. So they don't necessarily expect you to like already have knowledge. I don't know if it's probably not the end of the world if you did, it just depends on where that comes from. But no, that's not really a prerequisite to be able to tattoo well in order to apprentice. Really, the whole purpose of them to train you, teach you the ways without you getting too many bad habits that you built yourself along the way. Okay, Andy is here. Let's say hello to Andy. What's going on, Andy? Let's put us in our smaller box.
That's it. I'm here. I'm just cooling down. It's been a rather warm one. As I say,
and you don't got no air conditioning over there, huh?
No. Man, no air conditioning. Only luxury we get is we get a fan, electric fan. That's it. Get to open windows.
All right. I respect it though, man. That's something. You get used to it, I suppose.
Well, it's you tolerate it. I won't say you get used to it.
You tolerate it.
Yeah. So it's about it. It's been warm all week. It's been like late 20s, early 30s all week. So
30s? I'm learning Celsius because my clock in here for some reason doesn't want to reset to Fahrenheit. So I've been figuring out a little bit of Celsius here, and I can tell you what you already know. 30's pretty warm. That's
30 is about 80. It's about 86, 87.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because if it's not warm in the shop, it's like, oh my gosh, 30 in here, my God.
Yeah, and best thing about it is it's like my studio is up back at shop. So in morning it's not too bad, but then in afternoon, sun comes round and it's scorching. And none of windows open in studio. In my actual studio, none of windows open.
Man.
So I've got like one fan down at one end of the room blowing, and I've got another one at the other end of the room blowing, and they're like this in between each other, It's like a gale force wind. It's like a tornado.
Dang, man. I feel so blessed, to be fair, then. I really do. I mean, that's rough. So kudos to you. Smoke is like no AC. That's nuts. 80 in South Carolina. It's about the same here in Ohio. It's been high 70s. Actually, no, I think today was like 86. It was a warm one. But apparently Texas is in the hundreds. So I'm trying to enjoy this bit of cooler weather now because it's short-lived. But well, Andy, it's that night. It's the tattoo critique evening, that we love to do so much. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what everybody's sent in.
Yeah.
And that, I think one kid sent me a partial bit of his artwork in on Thursday. He went on with his art challenge and sent me a bit of partial artwork in.
Oh.
I know. Best part about it was, and I know you couldn't make it, and I put it out there, that if anybody wanted to come on, you know what I mean, that they could have come on camera with me. And I said to them, they could have come on. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
And I sent the thing, and that none of them, not one of them, took me up on it, Dave. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Took me up. They all sat there. Hey, up, John. How you doing, John? It's underground John there. Yeah, not one of them took me up on it.
Well, I did that very early on. One of the first couple of tattoo critiques, like, gosh, quite a long time ago, or it feels like. And it took a while to get anybody. I was like, just email me. I'll send you a link. You jump on. Yeah. It took a while. Then as I got a few people to jump on, and we talk about their work right there with them. I'd love to do that again sometime. Maybe we'll look into doing that again in the future.
They could have just come on, and we'd have just generally chatted and bit of bullshit, bit of banter, you know what I mean? Background story.
It's nice when you're looking at their work and talking to them at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it only was we got a bit of background story of how a few of them got into tattooing and everything and that on Thursday, which some of it were quite interesting. And that, so it was sound. It was sound. I think I don't think a couple of people like it, as you know yourself, Dave. Lost some subscribers after Thursdays.
Yeah. I always lose subscribers after every single live stream. It's just the way it goes. Yeah, we're just nowadays. I don't really care. And I know you're the same way, Andy. Really, I mean,
I lost some, and then I looked this morning like. Right, I've lost them, and I've got them so many back again. It's like weird, straight up weird. You know what I mean? I haven't had a camera since I played Xbox Live. It's called your phone. You can go on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. You can use your phone. Yeah, it's easy. The link can be used anywhere that we send to you guys. You just gotta type your name in. And that's about it. John says, hey, guys, if you were hiring a tattoo artist, I'm in. I guess it's easy to get a visa as I'm also a foreigner here in Dubai. Hey, man, I'll let you know, John, like a year or so, man.
Yeah.
I do open a shop out there in Texas. Love to have you come out and hang out or work there. I don't know how it's going to go. It's in the future. I got nothing to offer you right now, my friend. But don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke, Dave. They can't handle the smoke. Isn't that right, Smoke? They can't handle it. Too much. Oh, well, I burned 23 minutes here, BS, and I guess we better look at some work before people start to realize that we're scamming them. We're not actually going to look at anything.
What's that? Is that Daquan Johnson? How do you guys get your stencil not to wipe away while doing a tattoo? Man, washed away each time. Well, one... I'll be honest with you. What stencils depends on your skin prep before you put your stencil on. 2, depends on your stencil fluid that you're using. So I've tried loads, and I'll be honest, anchored. I've never had a problem with anchored. First off, is isopropyl alcohol, 70%. I have it in a spray bottle, spray skin down. Couple of times, give it a right good get wipe and everything, get all grease, moisture and everything out at skin. So then from there, bit of green soap, shave it, takes the dead layer of skin off top, get it dry. Then I'll use anchored, put a layer of anchored on, then I'll have just a little bit, then I'll just put a second layer of a little bit on, put it on, let it get tacky, place your stencil on, make sure it's all pressed down, like that. So it's all absorbed and all tacky, peel it off. And then best thing to do, if you can, 15 minutes. Give it 15 minutes. Again, and I've never, touch wood, I've never had a problem. If you're having problems then with it coming off, do not use green soaps, Dettles or anything when you're wiping. Just use straight distilled water, because green soaps and everything, they have a little bit, obviously soap, they have a bit of alcohol in them, this, that and other. They can start to remove your stencil. But that's how I do it. Don't have a problem.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. And if you got any questions, check the channel. I think the last video I actually made was explaining the whole process of how I put a stencil on. It's pretty straightforward. It's quick. It's only about 5 minutes. You can check that out on the channel. And I wasn't here for Andy's explanation, but I know we apply stencils the same way. So
yeah,
if you want to see what Andy's talking about, it should be over there on the channel.
You've already, and you've done some. We've talked about it before. You've also done a video, haven't you, Dave? Putting the stencil on recently. Putting the stencil on, like,
about a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Was getting a lot of questions about it, so I figured to revisit that, answer that in a video, and just throw that out there. Try to keep it as quick as possible. So, yeah, definitely.
John, is that a new tattoo, Andy, on your hand? No, it's years old. It's years old, is that?
I saw that comment and I was like, dang, I don't know. I didn't see it. See it.
It's years old.
Bam. Well, guys, we got Torrance up first. He says, Torrance Reed, hey, guys, it's been a while. I'm in a shop now. I thought all I'd be doing was black and gray, but here are a couple of color pieces. All right, I'm just going to reiterate it again, guys. We need references for your tattoos. Send your references with your tattoos. We'll take a look because this was the first one in, so it may not have heard it, but that's all good. So he's in a new shop now, and you thought all he'd be doing is black and gray, but I guess not. Hey, there we go. A little pine cone. Not too bad. Lines look all right. Color looks pretty saturated. Little openings here, but that kind of works. I guess you can kind of play with the skin a little bit, let the skin shine through a bit as well. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, it's there. I mean, there is black in there at the bottom of the pine cones. I think what may work, Torrance, is once you were done and you'd done your colour on your where your black was, is maybe just go back in and put a little bit more black on top and just slightly whip it out. It'll give you a better saturation of black. But yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool thing.
1 second.
But
all right. Okay, here we go. Got some little flowers going on here. Not too bad. Lines look okay, but I just wish, and I do this sometimes too, just finish off those little tips of those leaves right there. Give them a little finish off there. Another thing when you're taking the photos is I'll take a few photos and then I'll wipe the tattoo again, take a couple photos, because if it's fresh tattoo, like real fresh, like you just finished about to photograph it, within a minute or two, it could start seeping again. So you want to give it a good wipe again, take a couple more photos, whatever it is you're doing, but make sure you get a good wipe off so you don't end up with, the bit of the blood pushing through. And you like you do a lot of the green leaves and stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you think, buddy?
I mean, again, like you said, just tip them leaves off. What I will say to you is, Torrance, I can see that what looks to be, there's either two colours, maybe a bit of a third. I just find a little bit of a separation. Use a really dark green, Torrance, in the back of your leaf. Then into a lighter green, and then try use a golden yellow. That way, then that's just a combination I found from dark green to even a lime green when it's in skin, or a very light green into golden yellow. That three combinations on a green leaf, and then depending on how you shade it, whether you shade it from centre out on one side and then from outside to centre on the other side, and bring it round and do it that way. It's just your shading technique from there, but that's just something I would think about going forward. but experience, and the more you do it, and the more you try little bits out, then it will all come, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Trial and error. We try to limit the error, but we have a question. So you know how we do, Andy. We try to answer questions along the way. It's a tough one, though, to be fair. There's so many ways. It said, hi, guy. I have a question. I've been learning and tattooing daily on fake skin and done 5 tattoos on real skin. But do you have any tips on how to attract more clients or practice skin clients? Well, obviously it's hard to, I want to tell you right off the bat, like how good or bad are those 5 tattoos you did on human skin? If they're not great, that could be part of the problem as well. But then again, I understand that the first 5 tattoos might not be great or what considered good or what have you. But it's a slow grind, man. It really is. You have to keep doing it. And let's say you only get one new person a month willing to let you tattoo them. I'm not saying you're not, but you got that one opportunity that month. I mean, you got to put it all into it. So if you're going to be doing this X tattoo, you need to do it on paper, really understand it. Do it on your fake skin a couple times, really understand it. So when you go to that human skin, this is your opportunity. You treat it like gold. Give it everything, Make sure you got it that way, that every tattoo going out your door is something solid, and that person will tell another person. Word of mouth is the end all be all, in my opinion, of advertising. So at this point, it's kind of tricky. What do you got, Andy?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. And he's also put another one on. I've only done friends and family. We all start doing friends and family.
Absolutely.
When you're practicing on fake skin, and you should be doing it on your own skin, whatever, and friends and family. But as Dave says, you should be practicing it. When you move on to real skin, your first few aren't going to be great. But when you start getting better, make sure you get the best photographs you can with them. But you've got to find somewhere to advertise as well, Dave. You know what I mean?
If you want to advertise, if you're comfortable enough, to advertise, I know for myself, I didn't for a while. I just kept it real low key, did 20, 30, 40 tattoos without anybody really knowing other than the word of mouth. You know what I mean? But maybe I was just, fearful. So maybe that's definitely something you don't want to have. But anyhow, where would you suggest advertising, Andy?
Again, great stuff. If you're doing friends and family and things like that, is your own personal Facebook page to start with. You know what I mean? You don't have to, or you can set up a Facebook page under yourself, or whatever you want to call yourself, and start posting your work and a little bit about it there. But again, like Dave says, if your work's bad and it's not great to start with, you are definitely gonna. Photographing it and putting it on can be detrimental as well as beneficial, because everybody's going to get to see your work, and it's going to be like they can judge it for themselves, and they're either going to like it or they're going to hate it. Again, art is subjective. What some people like, other people love. What some people like, other people hate.
Yeah.
So you've got to be prepared, but your clientele is not going to happen overnight. Like Dave says, you might get one in a month, but then even if it's something only this big, you should be then giving it, even if you think it's going to take 20 minutes, if it takes you an hour, you've got to give it 200%. You've got to give that tattoo 200%, because then that person's going to go away, and you just never know. Then that person's probably going to come back to you and think, oh yeah, it's banging, is that? Now I want a bigger piece, or, oh, where did you get that done? Oh, I know somebody that'll do it. And they put them on. Now they come, they'll have a piece. They go away and tell people. Word of mouth. Word of mouth, one of the best ways as well. So it is a slow grind.
Definitely. And that ink girl, I like what she said, Andy, too. It kind of reiterates. Cassia, I think I'm saying that right, is in a shop now, which is fantastic. We talked about a while ago. But even there, look at it. She says, she did if I remember correctly, a feather, some birds, maybe some affinity sign, maybe. Looked very nice. But she said, look at it, really struggled with the feather. Did it on fake skin 3 times, and it looked good, right? But obviously, as artists ourselves, we look at our own work and we find all the flaws. I get that totally. But again, there she is, you know, in the shop, kind of working, learning, and 3 times. So that's what I'm trying to say is, you know, in the beginning, you don't get all the opportunities. So when you do get one, really treat it with everything you got, you know, and do your best. I know that's how I treated stuff in the beginning, and I still wasn't happy with it to the level, but you know, I gave it everything I could. So let's check out. But we got Butcher here. Let's see what we got. We got no. Oh, that's a hard photo to see. That's just all glare. And again, guys, we need reference photos. All right, but even if you did send a reference, Andy, I can't really. I mean, I know it's a butterfly, but
it's on darker skin.
Right.
What I can see, there still looks to be a bit of purple there, but what I can see, and I'm looking at it across, the skin looks quite raised. And I'm not going to say it's because it's been drilled or anything like that, because some people just puff up. But unfortunately, what I am going to say is I'm not going to make too many comments on this because the photo is not good at all. You've got Vaseline on it or some sort of ointment on it. I don't like to see that when you're taking photos anyway. So again, take your photos, wash your tattoo, wash the tattoo, dry it. Do not put a second skin on it. If you're going to photograph it to send it in, do not put a second skin on it. Do not put any ointment on it or anything, or wet it down. Get it dry, get it to a matte looking finish. Take a few in different angles, different lights. If you're taking them on your phone, you can see your phone. You can see on your phone screen the contrast change on your phone screen as you're moving it around.
Right.
And then send them in. Unfortunately, because there's so much glare on this, I'm not gonna critique it, Dave.
I can't either, man. I really can't. The photo looked promising right here. This area is, you know, not glossy and whatnot. You really can't see anything to say good or bad, or this spot's good and that's not, or over. So again, guys, just try to do your best with photoing. Let's see. Okay, we got a reference photo here, and we have a tattoo. Awesome, Joseph. The reference is a drawing I did referencing other mask. Huh? I worked on my lines for this one. The last time you guys said it needed some work. Thanks. Much love. Awesome. Okay, so let's see if I can understand. All right. So this is the drawing. This is the tattoo. Let me see what this one is. Is this the tattoo again? Same tattoo, different tattoo?
Yeah, just twisted.
It's a different color. Huh. Maybe they're the same. I don't know. I'm having a hard time here understanding which is which.
I mean, that's pretty cool to see it stacked side by side like that. This is how I like to see it.
Yeah.
You know I mean,
the line work is much better here, Andy.
Yeah. I mean,
really,
it's got. You look around the horns. Just put a heavier weight line around the horns.
Yeah.
Nice move.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
The outside of the mask on one side has got a heavier line. It's got a heavier line on the bottom, round the ear. Then as you move in, the lines are thinner. Can we just zoom out just a little bit, Dave?
Yeah, 1 second.
Right. What I will say is, and I will say to, is this with this? I will say to you, person, your rope's not the same, because if you've stenciled it, stenciled it off this, the rope's not the same. The end tassels on the rope aren't the same, and everything. The twists on the braids on the rope. Again, you've only put lines on them ones. You've shown a little bit of say. You've only put lines on the one on your tattooed. You've got a little bit of shading in them corners and crevices, which are on your drawing, which give it that little bit of more curvature and dynamic to your rope. That'd have been nice to see that in your tattoo. It would have been. Again, some of the shading areas, you've got slightly different shading on the nose. If you look, if you'd have shaded your tattoo like the drawing, it'd have been mint. You know what I mean? Put them extra lines in on the forehead. You've got the crease coming down the forehead, which comes down to like the split. But then on either side of the forehead, you got one little line, two little lines here, two little lines there. They'd have been a nice added thing in the tattoo. But as for the reference and the photo, the reference and the tattoo, they're pretty close to each other. I just think that working off your reference, shading wise, and I just mean shading wise here, Dave, that if you'd have spent a little bit more time looking at your reference, the little details, like down this jawline, a little bit in the teeth, round this nose and top lip, and obviously the forehead and everything, and just put a little bit more shading like you're drawing, it would have taken your tattoo to the next level. But the line work looks good and everything, you know, on the tattoo.
Well, you kind of know what I don't know. For me, I agree, Andy. I really like the line weights, the thick lines, the thin lines. I think it's pretty good in that regard. Really do. There's a couple lighter spots and saturation of said lines, but all in all, not bad. I say this all the time. I think this could use a little bit more depth. I mean, you have a lot of the shading there. You could have just committed a little bit more, kind of like you did in the drawing here. It was a little more depth here, a little more darkness, a little bit more darkness here, and in different locations, if you will. You kind of went there, but it seems like you were maybe just a little fearful to go too dark. Go for it. Give it a try. Put a little bit more depth into it. I think it would give it that much more. But overall, a big improvement. Overall, nice job.
Damn close to his reference.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We've seen stuff that, oh my God, that they have sent reference, and you've seen Stencil. You've seen Stencil on skin, and they're not even stuck to Stencil, Dave. You know,
yeah,
not even staying anywhere near lines. So it's damn close to it.
Okay, now I think Jake did say, my bad, I didn't realize we were only sending in 3 tattoos max. I said, don't worry about it. We'll skim through them kind of quickly if you send in too many. He said, been tattooing for a little over a year. Got a little variety of different styles here. Appreciate any criticism. Instagram is Jake Barney from State Farm. That's awesome. All right, man, we'll take a look. Give you some of our opinions. This photo is a little on the blurrier side, so kind of hard to see great detail, but I do like this. I like the style of it. It's pretty light and whimsy, if you will. The diamond overall doesn't look too bad. If there's a botched bit, it's on the diamond. Sure, there is one line a little darker than the other, but I don't think it's too bad. I think, and I say this all the time, and it's got to come down to just personal choice for me. So, I mean, take it for what it is. But I would love to see a little bit more separation of the two parts, a little bit more, again, personally, a little bit more separation of the leaves from the diamond. Maybe a little bit more dark coming out of here as it fades out. Maybe that dark coming back up a little bit more, kind of silhouette this leaf down here, the stem a little bit more. But I like the thin line weights going through it. The little bit of shading it has. Again, it's a little on the blurrier side, so I can't see detail. But I don't really have anything crazy, anything that I would say, you would want to change in any way. It's not a bad tattoo. Looks fine to me.
No. I mean, I quite like it. I mean, very girly. Very
sure.
feminine. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff done this way. Again, I would just nice to have seen a little bit darker in maybe a couple of areas. I'm not saying go OTT, but other than that, it is what it is. I've seen this style of tattoo like this in all different, shall I say, this style of tattoo, all different concepts of it used. But again, I think it is. I think it's whoever's got this is going to enjoy having this tattoo, and I think it's a banging little tattoo. And just me personally, for my preference, and it is preference only, I would have just put a few little areas of just slightly darker, that stipple shading, just darken the stipple shading up a little bit more.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah,
I like this. This is I've never, not that it doesn't exist. Maybe this is a custom, but I've never seen the skull baseball look. That's cool. It's always nice when I see something different. Yeah, I like the dark down here,
and it's clean.
It is clean. It really is. I like lines are used where they need to be used. They put the black, and then there's values in the black, right? So, I mean, the eyes aren't just completely black. We got black kind of coming out. There's some depth going on here. The nose is super dark. The shading's right. I like it. It's a little draggy, but I like it. It's gonna, when it heals, it's gonna like soften up and look even better. Black and gray is wonderful for that. Yeah, I think it fits the arm pretty good. Yeah, man. Overall, I like this tattoo. I'd be happy with.
I know.
Happy with this.
It's a nice tattoo. It fits the placement. It is super clean. Again, you'll get a difference of values. It must be what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different values in each eye. Ours got the baseball into the head. That like collar underneath is super clean, nice and black, and everything. Just an all-round, well executed, well placed, banging tattoo. Really good job. Really good.
Really like the way that stitching opens up out of the eyes. That's super fun. Look at it. I like this too. Very, very cool. I think obviously the only thing that really catches your eye would be these triangles. They're kind of long lines. There's no breaks in them. There's no, I mean, and you're curling around the arm, you know. Flat fake skin's nice, but when you're dealing with curves in the body and stuff, it gets a bit harder. Oh, excuse me. So obviously a couple of these longer lines kind of pop out at you a bit, but as far as the lion goes, looks good, nice and soft, black, just enough black to really give it some contrast.
I like
that up there.
I like how so the other stuff, the flowers and everything out, it's got the softer lines in it, roots of shading. Again, if you just zoom out just a little bit, Dave, there. No, it's a bit too far, is that? Go back in about there. What does stand, the only thing that stands out to me, like you said, is them lines in them triangles, long lines, curved parts, they are a bit, you know.
Yeah.
But the part that does stand out, like top triangle, left-hand side, just under that bottom leaf, looks like it's got a double pass on it. Could be my eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the only bit that really stands out on this tattoo for me. But other than that, it's all great. Again, it's just the lines around the triangle. If it were me, you pop a 9-round shader in and probably go back over that, you know, and or whatever, you know, and smooth them lines out.
Yeah, just bolden them up.
Yeah. But again, nice tattoo.
Yeah, it's a nice piece. Nice piece. Ooh, that's lovely. Ooh,
that's
I like
nice.
that. I like that a lot. Yeah, the color seems really saturated, which is nice because there's not really a lot of like black lines per se to hold this one together, but it looks like they did line it with the color they were kind of going with, so it's definitely going to help it last a bit longer, not blur out over time. It's a nice little piece, man. Love the color.
As small as it is, this is absolutely banging, is this? And it's not as easy as it looks to do. No black lines. So what you've got to remember is you're working up front, bottom, roughing it all in, getting the majority of it all in and set out before you even can do anything. Them leaves, nice. Stem, nice and even. The colours, the differentials in the colours, the use of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There must be 8, 10, 12 shades of red the red/yellow/orange that's in
purple.
that.
There's some deep. It looks like maybe some deep purple mixed with some of the reds. I don't know. It's hard to tell exactly. I know I use a lot of purple to darken up some of my.
It's just absolutely solid. It's a banging tattoo. It's solid, proper girly, and that again.
Let's check out what's the next one. Okay, well, from first impression, I like the way the ship in the water looks as it comes up. Personally, Andy, I just kind of feel like it gets a little messy up here.
Yes.
Not like horribly, but there's like this nice Let me see if I can get in here a little bit. Nice bits going on down here. A lot of little details. The waves look nice. The aft's look good. Really well shaded. Even the lightning's really cool. These beams are nice. But then you get up here and it's like, this feels a little bit rushed. I wish the same amount of attention that was put in here was put in up here, and it would have really helped fill it out. Or maybe extend the design so you didn't need as much sort of like brain clouds. But obviously, this person can tattoo just fine. It's just maybe a rush or a design flaw.
Like I say, I mean, that's just a design element for me. Again, pretty much agree with you. That I think if it's supposed to be storm clouds, looks a bit more like brain matter to me, you know. Then storm clouds just gets a bit together. Could have opened it up a little bit, you know. 'Cause you've got clouds. You would have even on storm clouds. You would have a little bit of sky in between or whatever, you know. Whether it were dark sky, it wouldn't just be all cloud, you know, like that. And it's again, it looks a bit like brain matter. But other than that, it's the person can tattoo. The person can tattoo without a doubt. It's just the design element of that at the top. So it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely just the clouds hurting this one. Oh, there you go. I've never tried anything like this. So I would just have to give my opinion. I feel like there could have been a lot more put in here, maybe a little bit more darks even. I don't know. The design, the idea is cool. It just, I know what it is. I don't know. Maybe the colors could have been blended more.
The idea is cool. The lining around the outside of the letter looks cool.
Oh, it looks crisp too. The lining does look good, man. Kudos.
It does. I mean, for me, it's just could have done with a bit better color separation on the blues. Maybe a dark blue, as in a proper deep navy blue, could have been used for areas where, and then you've got the royal blue, and then maybe use a bit of really light blue, like aquamarine, just for highlights. I just feel that the blues are quite close together, but at the end of the day, cool concept. Still looks good.
Yeah, no, it still does. And again, it's not terribly large either, but maybe just a little bit more, I don't know, I want to say darks even, a little more contrast. Yeah, I mean, it's like lacking a bit of contrast. It feels a little bit flat in the...
I mean, some of them blues may have even worked on this. Use the dark blue, actually touch it with a bit of black just to muddy it up a little bit and get that muddiness of a dark blue in it, which would have given it that extra tone. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, Dave, sometimes I like to use a muddy tone.
Yeah, you know, when needed.
I do like when needs be, and I'm trying to recreate something, I will like to use a muddy tone. And I know we get on about don't use black or anything, you know, to deepen your colours. But sometimes
it needs a little black.
I have used black when I've mixed in the tube, fixed my colour up, tiny little bit of black just to muddy it up a little bit because I know I can get.
Absolutely.
I want that muddy.
Like Mike was saying, it's pointing the wrong way. Please explain why. Now, I agree. It should usually always, you know, kind of like rule of thumbs, not like a must, but you want it kind of facing out, facing forward, facing in kind of a thing. But I have had clients where it's like, hey, it should be facing that way because there's this, that, or the other. And they're pretty set on it being the way they want it. And so to please the client, you do what you do. And maybe that was the case here. The D does face that way. It would have been a little harder maybe to get this in there the other way. But I do agree that I would have tried to find a way to get it the other way so that the line was facing forward.
I'm sorry, but I don't agree. Because this D faces that way, with the lion facing the other way. This D would look shocking because the mane and the flow and the mane on everything and that within the D actually follows the D. If I turned it the other way, it wouldn't have looked right because your mane's not that far around on a lion. And you know something? I get really pissed and I really get pissy and arsey about people. Yes, rule of thumb, it should be this way, it should be that way, it should be other way. But my argument that is, it's their body. They can have it which way ever they want, as long as they know, if I've explained to them that, well, actually, technically, it's wrong way around, and that, then, but they want to go ahead with it. It's their body, it's their freedom. Why should I try to talk them? The tattoo's not for me, it's for them. The easy fix for this would have been put it on the other arm. It'd have been the right way around if it had been on the other arm.
Yeah, but then the person's like, well, I don't want it on that arm. I already got that on that arm. So you really are there to please the client while giving them your suggestions along the way.
All you can do is give them information. Now, this is where it pisses me off. People go, it's wrong way. You don't know the background. You don't know the story of how they wanted it. If they wanted that lion upside down on their arse cheek, looking at their butt crack, and that's what they wanted, if you don't give them it, they're only going to go to another tattoo artist that will give them the tattoo that they want. But the problem is when they move away from you and go to another tattoo artist that will give them what they want, they will never come back to you. So it's quite, you know what I mean? It's quite simple. If you want to lose clients, just start refusing to do tattoos that they want.
Yeah, John says, exactly. As long as they know and you explain to them and they don't follow or listen to you, we cannot do anything about that. I mean, you really can't. And at that point, it's like the same as doing like finger tattoos. I have no problem doing them. I won't do the side of your finger. It's a waste of your time and my time. But I'll do the tops of the fingers and I'll let them know, hey, you know, especially if they want color, I'll let them know. At that point, it's on them. I've told them the gist, the dealio when it comes to doing certain things. If they still want it, okay. But I've told them, so now it's kind of like, same. Face something the wrong way. Hey, guys, normally we try to face stuff going that way, but I got no problem. If you want to go in that way, it's cool. It's cool.
I mean, Max putting towels always face forward. Not if client don't want it.
Yeah.
I put them on upside down. I put them on upside down so they're facing them.
Yeah.
You know,
they're portrait facing the person.
They've gone, the tattoo's for me. It's for nobody else. I want to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Right? No problem. As long as you know, I will give them all the information. Yes, I know that. Right. If anybody says it's upside down, left to right, back to front, arse ways up, just say, that's how I wanted it. Tattoo artist explained to me, but that's how I wanted it. No problem. Because, again, once a client moves away from you, because you won't do what they want them to do, they will not come back to you.
Excuse me. Oh, what do we got? Somebody said, watching from Jamaica. What's going on? Ink 10 scene. Ink 10 chain? Whatever. I can't read.
Ink 10 Sean.
Ink 10 Sean. Andy to the rescue.
Ink 10 Sean tattoos.
Oh, my. Watching from Jamaica. Thanks for watching, man. Appreciate it. It's always cool to see people from various parts of the world. So next we got Freakzilla. My recent work with references. Right on. All right, here we go. We'll soak up your reference. Yep. Cool. Got, looks to be all the same line weight here, minus the tiny little lines. Oh, excuse me. All right. Let's see what we got. Okay, we got some line. Oh, no, this is the stencil. Okay. I was going to say, got some saturation issues here, but appears to be the stencil. Stencil looks like it's on pretty good. Fake skin you're using is tough, so I give you credit right out the gate. Yeah, stencil looks pretty good. Let's see what happened here. Let's see why we do. Okay. Yeah. Definitely considering the fake skin he's using as well, Andy. I think he did a nice job lining this out. The lines look pretty consistent. Like 90% of them pretty nice. Nice.
Yeah, to say what fake skin he's using, seems to have got like you say, 90% of them seems to have pretty much followed his stencil. Yeah.
Yep. And again, I don't think it's the greatest fake skin. It looks quite thin.
Yeah.
So again, hey, good job on that. Oh, okay. Want to put his dark shades in first. Not bad. That black looks nice and saturated there. Got a nice little blend out here. Not too shabby. Yeah, looking good. I like he sends us the whole process here. Okay. Slap
That's
that.
really-
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Saturation
what,
looks pretty good.
seems to have done really well on that skin. If it's
Yeah.
what we think it is, I mean, it's got the saturation. I mean, I probably would them top feathers, the back edge of the feather. I probably would have pushed the red ink right up to the black line. It looks like they've got a little bit of a line, right just at the back of the feather. Kept the front of the feather same as he's done it.
Yeah.
But maybe just push the ink right up to the back of it. But again, that's just an artist style choice.
Well, let's see. Hey, there we go. We got a finished piece here. Yeah, this looks nice. Very, didn't go over the top with color choices and whatnot. I kind of even like the little bit of blue. It's kind of different. It's cool. Brown looks pretty good. I don't know. I like it overall, especially again considering the fake skin is not the. It looks rather thin. Maybe it's a step up from that really, really like see-through stuff. But looks like you got a pretty nice result, man. Good work. You can tell you took your time. You've been practicing. The lines are good. Saturating color into fake skin is a bit tricky as well. It can get kind of ugly. I think you did a nice job overall.
Yeah,
I really do.
Done a good job. Done a good job overall, and especially if that fake skin is what the fake skin that we think it is.
Right.
And it looks clean.
Yeah. It looks like the chat is agreeing with us. Everybody's got nothing but good things to say. Looks nice job. Looks nice and clean. Nice bird. Great.
What's up, John? I feel jealous to them. They've experienced practicing on fake skin way back in 2010 when I'm starting studying tattoo fake skin. It is hard to buy in my country.
Yeah, you had the learning of the hard knocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Nice job, Freakzilla. Nothing to say here. Love to see you keep progressing, man. And thank you for sending us the progress along the way, taking those photos as you went.
And
I like that you got everything kind of wrapped up here. Got a nice little setup reference. I don't know if that's a reference or not, whatever that is. But yeah, pretty good little setup you got.
Yeah. And like Casey says, you know what I mean? 10 out of 10 for making sure your skin's not fake skins and your things super clean. But it's right though, Dave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super clean. But again, this is what we're saying.
Nice.
You see how it's cleaned it off? It's dried it. It's super matte. It's not glossy or anything. It takes a better photo. You can see. It's same with tattoos on skin.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, you got to try to take a nice photo. It's the hardest thing to do once the tattoo's over is to get a good photo.
Yeah.
It's really tricky lighting, blah, blah, blah. I can talk about it for a day and a half. But yeah, really clean, crisp photo, clean fake skin. It just makes the whole process easier for everybody. What's going on, The Last Artbender? You're late, but you're here. It's all good, man.
That's it. That's all that matters.
We got a lot of emails to get through here. 10 out of 10. Nice line. Nice colors. All right. Let's see. Hey, haven't sent anything in a while, but I got into a shop some months ago, and these are some recent pieces. Let me know what you guys think. Wouldn't be here without you guys. Thanks. Congratulations on getting into a shop recently. And yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So let's take a look, give you some opinions. Oh, yeah. Well, I like soaking it in from a distance. Oh, I think it's a nice little tattoo. You know what I mean? If somebody had it, bam, looks good. But let's get in there.
Nice little towel. Looks to have some nice little bits of soft shading, especially in the lilies and that. Nice little bit of soft shading, just in key points, not going over the top. A little bit of dot work, some soft shading on the outside. Butterfly. Let me just soak the butterfly up. Again, well done.
I will say while Andy's checking it out, it's tricky. It could be the photo, but it looks like some of the black saturation's a little weak, as far as taking it all the way up to the line around there. Just want to find anything we can to kind of help you out there. A little more saturation would probably help out a little bit in the black. Same in these little pieces down here. If they're fully black, give them the respect and fill them in nice and good like.
now you've got in a little bit closer. Some of the lines are a little bit, you know, not touching, not finished off, but just watch yourself. Like you come down towards bottom, there's like 3 or 4 tiny little leaves to bottom right hand side. Top leaf don't come round and join itself. But hey, I mean, excuse me. But when you step away from it, Dave, and you look at it as a whole,
yeah, it's not too bad. Be careful getting a little dark in some of these little flowers here. I feel like the centers just get a little bit hard to read. But the skin is weird. It acts a certain way. Overall, like Andy and I have been saying, not a bad little tattoo.
yeah. Just a few little things in a few little places just to watch for. And just a bit more working on trying to get your lines a little bit more fluid. But we all struggle with that on some areas.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
That is a major struggle.
For the most part, these lines are pretty good. And again, maybe a little bit more contrast, even though I do like the contrast you have. But going back at the end, like adding white highlights, I'm not saying add white highlights, but at the end, I will try to at times go back and like you would at the end, adding white highlights, I will go back and add one last go through of black, or just find the crevices and add an extra little layer of black to the depth of things and try to give it that one extra little bit to help pop some. And you can find little spots down in all these little crevices that might help out here and there. But overall, looks good. Butterflies, Andy.
Yeah, butterflies, colour butterflies.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah,
Not
from where
too
they
bad.
are. What I am going to say is, I'll be honest, for this amount of butterflies going up there, the actual colour fill, shall I say, the colour fill in them is weak. Is weak. You've gone yellow, red, blue, shaded in, shaded a bit here, shaded a bit there. Come on. The butterflies, you could use reds with a bit of pink, you could use yellows with a bit of green and a bit of orange and a bit of red. Blues, you could use 3 or 4 different blues with some purples. Your clients paying you, I mean, this, that, and other. So, again, purples, you could have purples, pinks, purples, blues. For me, you got into this trouble putting the butterflies on. Let's give the client the trouble of giving the appropriate amount of colours, or even if it's just shaded, instead of just skipping through with one colour.
Yeah, give it a little depth, give it a little bit. Even if you bring in just one more shade, one more tone to each one of these.
Yeah.
A deeper green down here. Even if you just blend that, kept it just the way it is, one tiny little extra thing, like Andy said, would just add a little bit more deeper green, a deeper pink, or even a red just peppered out, a deeper blue, or even a dark purple down here whipped into that dark blue. And then it just carries on. It just adds a little extra dimension. Like Andy said, you went through the time of lining all these little, each one of these butterflies, and then you could have just helped yourself a little bit more by adding just a little bit more color to it.
It's just go. That's what we keep saying. Just keep going that extra mile. We're just going that extra mile.
It helps. It helps. Oh, here's
the
very similar. No, this is a different one.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought the same thing at first. Very similar to the last one. This person does pretty like minimalist shading. Lets the skin breathe a bit, but I feel like it gets a little lost, right? A little bit, not too much, but a little bit more contrast in here. Where that darkness comes from your background a little bit would help it out a little bit. Aside from there are some lines here or there, but again, you're on the wrist, you're in different areas, blah, blah, blah. I would say just try to find a little bit more contrast would be my opinion. Again, these are all just opinions you're getting. Let's see if the chat's got anything to say.
I think Danek's taking piss out of me.
Andy should create another channel named Andy Knows Best. Dan Danek. Danek. Busting balls as always, my friend. I didn't even think of that. I'll definitely do it next. Oh, this is the person. Hey, what's going on? Mekai? You think I pronounced that right, Andy? Mekai?
Is it Meki Hinan? Meki Hinan? I don't know.
Yeah, we suck at that. But I think he was talking about the butterflies. Didn't think of that. Yeah, that's just a second opinion. John definitely agrees. Contrast, and that's what this needs. You have the nice light grays going on. It's smooth. You know, the lining will always improve as you go, but it definitely want to try to find a way to push some contrast into the background, which is going to pop all those, flowers a bit further forward. So,
yeah.
Oh, he said we got it.
So
We
just
got
a
it
little bit
right.
more.
Mackay.
Right.
Yeah, I guess he didn't say which one. I'm just going to assume it was me.
Oh, you can have that one. There. You can have that one.
I needed it, Andy. Thanks for the win, bud.
But yeah, just a bit more contrast in this, bit more black, bit more contrast. But you're going to learn this. You're going to see it. You're going to start experimenting. You're going to start pushing your boundaries within the tattoos. You know, oh well, you look at it and you stand back and you think, could have just a little bit. So you just put a little bit more and you think, oh yeah, that bit looks okay. So then you add a little bit more over here, a little bit more down there. And
yeah.
I'll be honest. That's how it works, really, doesn't it? Once you've
It
got
really
it
does.
like that, stand back and look, think, looks a bit flat, looks a bit tonal. Tell you what, could do with a little bit more in there and a little bit more, and you'll just come back through it and just tinkle it up.
Yeah, and if you're doing this on Procreate and you got your design laid out and you're kind of shading it in that, just try different things. Try putting a little dark behind it and see how that looks and whatnot. Mess around a little bit more, push the boundaries of your contrast. But again, I'm sure you did the tattoo. The client was probably happy with you. You know, this is nothing wrong with the tattoo at all. Just some little things. And I think the same would apply here a little bit more. This one has a little bit more contrast.
Yeah, that one does.
Maybe just bringing that shade out a little bit more. So, you know, and then going back and filling in like this area right here. I don't mean to get this close. Just want to, this, in my opinion, could have been completely closed in and then a little bit darker even. Just contrast stuff. It's always a challenge. Yeah.
I just need to shoot and get a drink, mate.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll switch out with you when you get back out of pee.
Yep.
It's in here drinking this juice water. Whew. Okay, Zach is up next. He says, "Hey man, I finally started to find the time to start tattooing, something I've wanted to do for years. I just want to say I feel like your videos help me jumpstart the process, and I can't thank you enough." Anyways, well, I'm glad I could help you out, and I hope we can continue to help you out because the beginning is the hardest time. You know, you can feel really good about things, start the process, then get pushed back a little bit, but you know, understand it's a journey, it's a process. It's a 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps. You always feel like you're falling, but you're not. All right. Anyway, here's a few pieces I've done so far. Cheers, Zach. All right, let's take a look at what you got. Well, from here, this looks really cool. Quite the piece here. A lot of lines. We'll get a little bit closer and see. All right. Well, it appears that you followed your stencil better than some other pieces we've seen geometrically, just because stencils wear away and people tend to have a hard time. But if we look at the line consistency, which is what you really want to work on in the beginning, depth, consistency, are you blowing through the fake skin? But it's a little bit hit or miss with a lot of it. Same with the center here. Some of them are a little bit jagged. When you're doing these pieces on the outside, every one of these needs the same amount of attention. It can be daunting when you're looking at this thing going, oh man, there's so much to do, but you got to make sure, especially geometric stuff, that every one of these is good and consistent. I give you props here because a lot of these curves feel pretty smooth. They don't feel like they're like, oof, all over the place. A couple of them here and there do. But consistency is going to be the biggest thing when it comes to pieces like this. For an earlier on piece, an earlier thing you're doing on fake skin, it looks pretty good though. I mean, especially jumping in, taking on a geometric piece. I think you did a pretty good job. Again, the line work is going to get better with time, and you want to focus on that before doing much more, okay? Because while it doesn't look bad, it is not where you want it. I hope you understand that. Okay, this is cool. What I like about this is you're giving yourself a little piece here, nothing too crazy, but you're giving yourself the opportunity to saturate black, which is good too. Lining, saturating black. Those are like the first two things you really want to focus on. I think you did that here. Unfortunately, a couple of these lines are a little bit wonky as far as Their needle was probably bouncing a little bit more. Something was going on there because you kind of see the jumps in it. But it does, for the most part, look like you kind of did most of these in like a one pass kind of a thing. So that's a good thing there. But the consistency and saturation is a little off. Now, again, you're using some really poor quality fake skin. So I give you props for even getting what you've gotten. I would definitely say you're early on here. It's promising. So get yourself, invest in some good fake skin, even like a real skin, REEL skin, pound of flesh, something like that. I think Real Skin, the brand, is probably the most affordable, decent fake skin to get you started with. But the black seems saturated pretty good. It looks like you, for the most part, you got all the way up to the lines. Again, the lining's a bit iffy, but again, you're still early on. Okay, so here's what I was trying to get at before. This might be one of the earlier pieces you did. I don't know. But I'm going to assume, looking at these pieces, I'm going to assume this was the first, and then you moved along. So with it being the first, obviously the lines are a bit wonky here and there. You were smart. You took on small pieces. But again, you can see the hesitation in the hand. You can see the needle doing its thing, the lack of control, if you will. But again, you took on some small pieces, nothing crazy. The color work is super splotchy. You can see where you had saturation, where the needles didn't saturate. And the lining is not the greatest here. I think, again, your better work was the stuff we looked at before. This might be more early on. I would, at this point in your practicing career here, stay away from color for a little bit. Just don't even worry about it right now. It will come. Again, lines, continue those lines. I see improvement as we go from here to here to here, right? Big improvements. Keep working on those lines and incorporating some black here and there. And I'd love to see what you do next time in another batch of work that you send to us maybe next week or a week from that. Follow this along, but it's promising. It's promising. You see potential here. So do me a favor, get yourself some better fake skin. Do that for yourself. Do that for us, man. But Zach, thanks for sending those in. All right, we got John up. Let me check chat, see if I heard anything. Okay. Just need to clean the skin. Also, yeah, definitely, Jason. Good point. Cleaning the skin, important. That beard, though, fire. Thank you, brother. It's a pain in the butt, but it's part of me now. I don't know what to do without it. You'll be all right, Zach. Just need baby oil, a little baby oil to clean that fake skin. Irish said, I bought real skin and will never go back. Good. Irish, you were another one of those we said, hey, man, get some better fake skin. And I'm glad you listened. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah. Just keep swimming. You'll get there. For sure, for sure. All right. John is up next. Hey, this is John. John. Okay. Hi, Dave and Andy. How's it going? Hope you both doing good. Just want to share some of my works and hope to hear your feedback about the reference. Some of design is missing. Just free-handed on skin. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, all right. So let's take a look at this. You can see how John put together his references, kind of put them together there. These are the pieces that he's kind of working off of here. And that is the piece he ended up with, man. I have to pee real quick, Andy. I want to talk more, but I'm going to drop out for just a second.
Before you go, I'm just going to say, I just wanted another quick look at his reference.
Yeah.
Skip me back. Cool. Yep. Like I say,
good right there?
Yeah, just zoom out just a little bit there. That'll go there. I mean,
okay.
Again,
be right back.
You can see from his reference, and I can just see his reference in the background, how he's composed them together. Again, I am not, and I've said I'm not a massive fan of wolves. They always look like some sort of weird ass dog tripping on acid. Again, and this is no exception to me. I just can't not see it. The only time that wolves don't look like they're tripping on acid is when they've got the mouth open with all the fangs out. But again, he's gone through there, put the darks in, he's a lot of blacks throughout it. What I will say is, yeah, Casey, once you see it, unfortunately, once you see it, you cannot see it, not unsee it, that all wolves with this sort of pose, front on, mouth closed, snout, they all look like some dog, stupid dog, grinning, tripping on acid. Again, but it's got his wolfing super saturated, and we know John can tattoo, no problem. Again, what I will say, John, and this is personal preference to me, bro, is this is not, shall I say, one of my more favourite pieces that you've done. I've seen you do some of the pieces that you've composed and put together, and I know it's probably what the client wants and everything, this, that, and other. Some of the pieces that you've done, and you sent one last week, and that they are properly on fire. The unfortunate part is I'm just not a wolf tattoo fan. But again, you've got your trees in, you've got your referencing, your blacks are in solid, you've got your bits of shading in, you managed to capture that scar up the nose, and everything. Just unfortunate that technically it's applied well and always will be with you, John, because like I say, you can tattoo, no doubts about that. Just that it's not one of my more favourite pieces that you've done, and I'm not a fan of wolf pieces anyway, because like I say, once you see it, to me they always remind me of a dog grinning and tripping on acid, so it's just one of them things for me. But again, it's good work. It's in there, it's stuck, it's bulletproof, and your client's going to be well happy.
Look at that.
Like I said, when you look at it like that, the actual wolf's face looks to have been narrowed up, and slimmed in. Because if you're looking at the outer part of the mane, it's more rounded. Is that wolf there? That one looking a bit more closed up.
Yeah, I think what would have helped is this little bit right here. It feels like it's kind of missing over here, so the face kind of feels like it droops in,
Yeah.
I like that he was willing enough to allow that much skin to breathe. Sometimes I'm not willing enough, and it does help, but a little bit more shape over here like it is over here. And then this bit right here kind of throws you off for a second. It kind of looks like it's part of the ear, but it's not. But again, like you said, I like a lot of it. Just for me personally, this part of the face over here kind of feels like it's missing. If that were there, I'd be like, yes. But as
same shape as other side, under eye other side.
Yeah.
I think, because that's got that rounded curve, whereas this side seems to have that straight up. If that had a bit more rounded, I think
right.
But
it does have it a little bit here, but it might have been exaggerated a little bit. But this depth, this darkness right here, I feel like is what it needs a bit, kind of like it is over here. I don't know. Sometimes it could be the way we interpret our stencils, or our references.
But it's one of them. It's like I've said to John, he's done some awesome pieces. It's just not one of my favourites. But I'm not a wolf-loving tattoo type person anyway, and that. And he's done, like I say, he does awesome stuff.
Yeah, it's executed nicely. I mean, I really do like the way everything was applied, all the different techniques used, proper darkness, in my opinion. So very nice. Let me see if there's a reference. I think that was the reference. Ooh, is that? Oh, that's the reference. Yeah, okay, that's like the reference, if you will. That was how, he took the photo, cropped it onto the arm for, for showing purposes. And then this is the tattoo complete. It looks like maybe added a rose down there as well. I like this piece.
Yeah.
I do wish that maybe there was a little bit more darkness here and there. But again, that's sometimes, personal preference, because there's a lot. I really like the way you did that rose, man, how it just kind of comes out, kind of blurs out a little bit down here where it fades down. There's no solid, hard lines. It's just kind of proper shading put in there, but maybe just a little bit more dark wherever you could. But overall, I like it. It looks good.
I prefer this piece over the wolf piece. I mean, you look at the detail in the mouth on the lion with its teeth out. You can see the gums, the lips, the bit of tongue at the back. You know what I mean? He's got all this through the nose and everything. Yeah, and this is what, and I'll be honest, this is what I sort of like expect, you know, John, you know, like this. It just, the other one just didn't float my boat, if you understand what I mean. But again, that could be just the composition.
I agree, and but I like the way he does his fur. I like all these little lines and textures he puts in there. I mean, it's such a challenging thing. People make it look easy at times, and then the stimpling going on up here for the smaller little hairs, nicely done. I like it a lot. Even the color in the eyes reads really nice. A couple little highlights. Didn't get crazy with the white. Only put it where he needed it. Fits the arm really well, and it kind of flows up as usual. John, really nice, man. Nice couple of different pieces here. Did I miss anything? No, I got them. Got them. As always, John, appreciate you sending that in, man. And nice work. Next up, let's see. John, no problem, man. He says, thanks for the honest reviews. Cherry Bombshell, very first tattoo on skin. I've been practicing for about 3 months. I know my line weights are a bit off. Beauty is in the heart, not upon the face. Okay. The concept is cool. But yes, the line weights, these lines definitely aren't done properly. I don't know how else to really word it. Definitely looks like you just kind of went over these spots several times. Some ink took, some didn't. Tried to thicken them out, maybe even tried to fill them in, but they're not saturated through. If it appears that way in real life, it's because the skin's red and making it appear that it's dark and saturated, but it's not. The lines are quite shaky and wonky. The depth is off in some of these places over here. It's just way too light. It's like you're hit and miss. You're having trouble figuring out where that sweet spot is in the skin. Ensure you're getting a proper stretch, because a lot of these lines are double, triple, quadruple banged to get them there. And then when it comes to the saturation of the color, it's a bit weak as well. There are spots that are saturated in some of this red, but it's not carried throughout. And that goes for the pink and the green, nor is the color taken up to where the lines would be on here. I think you may want to take a little bit less on. I wouldn't worry about trying to do this color and whatnot. Maybe just try to get those lines correct. Use a larger needle grouping. You also looks like you're using a small needle grouping to try to do all this when it comes to aligning. Get a bigger needle and practice with that needle. Because again, the lines just aren't there. You know what I mean? What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, got some different line weights going on. I mean, lines down right hand side of it that are thinner and they're barely in there, or what look to be barely in there. They're just hanging on with skin of the teeth. Again, like you said, the fatter ones, it looks like they're still being using a thin liner to do it and try filling it in, which is all well and good if you can do it. If you can't, you need to be using a thicker liner, like we've said, through. There's a couple of places where it goes up and down through the bottom. I don't know whether it's just a photo. They may look a little bit overworked in the black, a little bit patchy and everything. Then we get into the colour blends, not the best. We've got a lot of holidays within the colours, you know, where it's not up to the lines, not finished off. It's not saturated. The saturation's weak on it, especially in the reds. You can see through. You can see how how washed out it is, and the pinks and the green. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Do with dialing it back. Get yourself some fake skin, dial it back. Try working on some things that are simpler, shall we say, with one line weight and everything.
Yeah.
But again, you've missed the mark with this one. There's a lot of little things. Well, I said little things. There's a lot of things missing and not quite right in it, which then make up to it all not looking right. And some places it may be a little bit of a rough heel on some of that black. Could you go back in and fix it? Yeah.
Yep.
Could go back in and fix it when you've gained a bit more experience and a bit more knowledge. And if I were you, that's what I would do.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely reworkable. Just sometimes you hear about people going back in and trying to fix something they did a couple days later as soon as it heals. And unless you're going back in it with a better understanding or a little bit more knowledge or skill level, you just can end up kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, same again. Just do it over for a second time.
Let's see. Bradley says, come on, get out of the way, thing. I sent my work in before a while ago. Been tattooing about 9 months now total. Would love some advice on chasing apprenticeships in the UK. Having no luck at all, but I really want to get some studio experience and consistent tattooing. Also, I've been going 9 months. It's very, very rare I get to work once every 2 weeks at most. All self-taught. Thanks, guys. It's tough when your work is so spaced out. It's hard to get reps in, consistent reps. It is a journey that way, though. It is, even if you were in an apprenticeship, which I encourage you to do so, but even if you were there, you know, it's still going to probably be a little bit closer together, but still going to be spaced out a bit. So it's part of the process. All right, let's see what we got here. All righty. Well, it definitely looks like that black is saturated nicely. Some of these lines aren't bad. Get a couple bit of wonkiness here a little bit coming back. It's not horrible, but it does catch your eye. I like that you're doing designs that are lines in black, if you will. But again, you still want to take your time with all of it. It's not too bad. There's not a lot going on here. But again, saturated, the black's nice. I would just maybe slow down with these lines a little bit. Maybe choose the designs you do, if you can, a little bit more. That way you're not stuck trying to run a long blade line. Ugh, I hate that. There's nothing worse than like having a tattoo and everything's going good and you're like, okay, I can't mess this line up, because then that's the whole tattoo at that point.
Yeah, I mean, especially with a tattoo like this, because I like how he's choosing them, you know, because if it gets a bit thin, black, you can sculpt it out, this, that, and other.
Yeah.
With these super minimalistic one, the devil is in the, believe it or not, the devil is in the detail. E.g., them lines that are out on their own, down on that blade, either side. I know they're tough, and I know you think, and we'd all go through it. It's like, no, all the rest of it, I can pack it with black, I can sculpt it in, and you get down to these lines. It's like, well shit, me, I can't screw these up because these are the only ones that are out on show. And sure as eggs is eggs. If you're going to screw anything up anywhere, there you go. That's where it'll be. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're not tattooing consistently and doing it day in, day out, like a regular job, you start overthinking it and you start getting a bit more nervous. Whereas when you've been doing it more consistently and you're day in, day out and everything, it's just like going to your everyday job. Like for me and Dave, it's like it's your everyday job. It's like somebody going to a joiner's shop and, you know what I mean, cutting, routing wood, you know, cutting down sizes, making chairs or tables or whatever. If it's your daily job, you'll go, no problem. Somebody will give you some bomb, job done. You don't have no problems because you're doing it day in, day out. And it's the same with tattooing.
Absolutely. And it just comes, time will get you there. Oh, here we go. We got something totally different here. And again, I mean, you know what I will say is, are there some deficiencies in these lines? A little bit. They overpass each other. But, you know, it's maybe thicken a line up here and there. But overall, when you just look at the piece, the line work doesn't jump out at you and go, hey, this is off, that's off. I think they could have put more contrast in these. I'll call them blues. They might be a greenish or whatever they are. But you see, it appears to me that he has two tones here. This darker tone, like right here, and this lighter tone. And in the early stages, we've had long conversation about this here on the channel. When choosing your colors, you're looking at it, you're going in the bottle, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this blue for the dark and this blue for the light. and they look like they're very different here. Once you put them in the skin, they almost look the same. There's not enough contrasting. So you have to go a few shades almost to the point where you're like, ooh, is that going to work? It probably will. Because here I see it even in the face, Andy. I'm sure you noticed it too, where he's using different tones to give some shape, but it's not coming across the way he probably wanted it because those tones are so close together. I would have went several shades darker for the lighter tone, and it would have really added a lot of dimension. But the saturation looks solid to me for the most part.
See, the thing for me for this one, I think it's quite funky. For what it is, I quite like it. Full colour tattoo, quite like it. I know Therapeutic's got line weights in, but then again, I don't know. Because for this one, for me, what I would have said is, you know the gills where it's got the grey in there? It's fine, fair enough. What I would done, is it Bradley in it? What I would have done, Bradley, from where the blue is, just whipped a little bit of black out into the grey, would have given you a little bit, right?
Yeah.
As Dave said about your blues, when you're choosing them, you look and you think, yeah, they'll be fine. No, what we usually say, or what we're telling everybody, have at least 2 separations of shades between every colour. You know what I mean? You could have got away with a royal blue on this and then a lighter blue. And you could have put this in like this and thought, yeah, it's a bit flat. So then gone and got a royal blue, or gone and got a navy blue. And then just off the side of the belly, just whipped a bit of navy blue up on it. And then the belly, I quite like the colour on the belly. What would have been nice is, you know, to complement that colour, Dave, would it be like a toffee or a caramel, like a super light brown toffee caramel coloured, just whipped out.
Yeah, could use like a burnt orange or something.
Well, could you go in and add them colours? Of course you can. You can go in and add them colours and add them bits to it. But what I will say is I prefer this one, and this is a nice tattoo, better executed, more aesthetically pleasing than the Switchblade. For me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I like this one. The language, even looking at this, because I'm looking at this, like whatever it is that comes off side of it, that's like it's whisker. It's pretty consistent line width through it. Everything looks pretty decent. And it's just little bits on that.
Yeah, overall, not bad at all. Oh, another photo of that one. Oh, okay, we get a little bit more of it. Yeah, again, like we said, Andy, I still like how he kind of peppered this dark out a little bit. Had he gone a little bit more with that blend out and then maybe a touch of black in there. Your color tattoos definitely want to add some black to them. They're just like black and gray tattoos in that they need some contrast, but it can be a little harder for your brain to wrap around adding too much black, but it will help a bit. And again, I'm not going to reiterate everything we just said, so we'll jump to the next one. Yeah, okay.
Right, I'll jump in first here, Dave.
Go ahead, Andy. Yeah.
What I am going to say to you is, I don't like it. I don't know. It's missing something. And I get rib cage, skeleton, bit of butterfly. It just, for the size of it, because it's on a thigh, for the size of it, Bradley, I think could have been so much more done. And I think it's missing, because basically what you've used black and negative space. And I think it's missing tones. I think it's missing shade, dynamic.
Yeah, like a little curvature maybe in the ribs or something, or a little shadowing in the back of the ribs, because the ribs in the back kind of blend with the ribs in the front. Had there even been just a uniform-ish tone on some of those ribs and maybe a little more dark behind the ribs, kind of would have set some depth to it a little bit more. And then some of the lining, again, it's not bad. It's a little sketch here and there. If you zoom out on it, though, it's like, all right, you can see it. But again, you want to try to be able to separate the different things going on. And sometimes it takes some time playing with it. And let's say Procreate, because of there's plenty of applications, but playing with it to try to separate the different pieces in your piece so that, they read easy. You don't want the eye to struggle. It needs to have a place to set. So yeah, definitely along those lines.
Yeah. I mean, lines look a bit sketch, don't look too great, round ribs on outer part of ribs and everything. I think the better part for me, the better looking part of this one for me is probably pelvis. That just seems to be a little bit better done than the rib cage, a bit.
Yeah.
Just, but what I will say, out of what I've just seen, Bradley, the colour piece is far superior to, the rib cage, that you've done, and I prefer it over the black, switchblade. The colour piece.
Mike brought up a great point too, though. Color in those butterflies, yeah, that really would have. Not that of course, you got to do what the client wants. I get that, but yeah, if you go back, coloring it would really separate those things as well, along with adding a little bit more dynamic to the black and gray. But yeah, some color would do it well. But overall, Bradley, I see the progression, man. See the progression. Thanks for sending in, letting us take a look at it. Also, any advice on chasing an apprenticeship in the UK, Andy?
It's rock hard. Whereabouts? I don't even know whereabouts he is in the UK. But it's so hard getting apprenticeships in UK because a lot of shops. How can we say? A lot of shops are flat out, Dave.
What does flat out mean, Andy? I'm sorry.
Busy, really busy, 24/7.
Okay.
So it's hard taking an apprentice on.
Lincolnshire. I can't.
Where is it? Lincolnshire. So that's just Lincolnshire. It's not that. That's probably about Lincoln. It's probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from me. It's hard because, like I say, they're working full time, and then you're trying to get an apprentice in and spend time with them. It's hard. But the other thing as well is what you find with, not all of them, don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying that Bradley is, but unfortunately in the past, especially in UK, you get a lot of apprenticeships, a lot of apprentices that don't follow up, treating it, they start on the apprenticeship and then start treating it like an hobby, turning in, not turning in, this, that, and other. The other thing as well is they don't like, and I don't know what it's like in the US and that, Dave. You see, originally, you come as a fresh apprentice, not doing anything, you can't do anything, and you're learning straight out of gate. You don't get paid or anything.
Yeah, no, same here for the most part. Sometimes they'll have you pay. But I guess part of me kind of understands that a little bit as well. To a degree, paying for an apprenticeship is something you might have to do as well. But again, I mean, it is kind of like your future or whatnot. You put a little of your own skin in the game. The tattoo artists, because they're going to train you and then they could teach you a bunch of stuff. In a year and a half, you could just leave. And that's the risk that I think artists take when they take on apprentices. And that's why it's so picky, because it's like, who do I want to pour into and will they leave me? And I think that's why some artists will have apprentices pay, whether it's $5,000 or something. It's like, okay, if you're going to pay $5,000, then at least you're serious enough. You're not going to just leave immediately. I'm not, so that's kind of how it is here in the US. It can be hard because they don't take on a ton, so they're picky. It makes sense when you're in the position to do so, actually, but it doesn't help everybody who's looking for one, so you really want to present yourself in the best way. And if someone's going to be teaching you and have you around all the time, you kind of have to fit the vibe as well, personalities, yada, yada. You have to be empty, willing to be taught. Some people aren't. They don't want to, or they have a chip on their shoulder. Got to be humble. A lot of things.
It's like saying, it's like in my shop and been in my shop. It's like, well, unfortunately, you're gonna have a good sense of humour because we do not but take piss out of each other. You know what I mean? And you've got to be willing to pitch in, because where somebody's missing. I don't care what it is. Where somebody's missing, I fall in. It's like if two girls are working and somebody comes in, I'm on reception. If I'm not working, Dave, you know what I mean? Then that's how it goes. You just got to be willing to pitch in. cleaning if they're working and floor needs to be cleaned in the studio or whatever, or something needs to be done. I'm doing it. And that's how it is. And again, you'll know yourself that you get in certain situations, and some days, not every day, some days, for one reason or another, you could be feeling under weather or whatever. You can be a bit cranky or whatever. You just not got to take it too personal. And just get on with it. I mean, I've had them come in shop and they've been learning, and they get frustrated because it takes them longer to be pulling straight lines or clean lines or saturating, and it's like, well, this is how it is. I mean, you're not going to do it overnight, or they don't want to. You'll send them away, shall we say, with homework, stuff to do and everything. They don't want to do it. Well, you don't want to do it. I mean, bugger off, because a lot of time, where do you do your designs, Dave?
In the shop.
Yeah, but
home. Well, most of the time in bed, laying in bed watching YouTube.
A lot of the time after work when you finish.
It's all occasionally it's in the shop, but 90% of it's all done in your free time. There's the wonderful saying that people said, like, I was tired of working 9 to 5, so I quit my job and started tattooing. Now I work 24/7, and it is kind of the truth. It's like, that's just how it goes. You have freedom, but it's the weird sort of freedom that you have to figure it out, because if you're not tattooing, you're probably working on a tattoo, so you can tattoo. And, I mean, I'm not complaining though.
You're replying to messages. Or whatever. I mean, I would have come in. I've even had older people, and I thought, want to learn a little bit older. You know what I mean? Maybe mid-late 30s. Thought not a bad age. Want to learn. They're working. They say, I don't mind just coming down, weekends or whatever. That's fine by me. You work that thing. You put your time in. It's free, And then they've been doing it, and I've given them stuff to do, and they've been doing it. But then they're shadowing me when I'm tattooing. And I've said to you, I've had it, shall we say, where we may get to, shall we say, an awkward or more intimate part, of the body.
Right.
And they've not been able to cope with that. They've not been able to cope with it at all, and they've got embarrassed or whatever, and then not come back because they can't deal with that part of it. But it's like, hey, well, you've got to get over it. You've got to get over that. It's just skin. It's just like an artist draws on paper. And half the time you're like, yourself, Dave, when you're tattooing, you might be transfixed on an area about so big when you're tattooing, and that. But it's like, get over it.
Yeah, it's tough getting an apprenticeship. Sometimes, I mean, you can get to the point where your work's good enough, you can just enter into a shop, It happens more often, lately than I've heard from being here, talking to people. They work, they put everything they got into it at home, whether it be whatever the means are, and then they're able to enter into a shop, I guess, as an artist, if you will, at some level. So there's that, Jesus. But that's more work. It's more work on your end in a way, because you don't have the guidance of somebody there. It's the give and take. Apprenticeship is definitely the way to go. But obviously it's just not there for everybody, obviously. So.
I mean, at this rate, Dave, with however many people are struggling, with apprenticeships, we're better off doing.
What's that?
Setting up a live over the internet, apprenticeship, like via Zoom, and they have Zoom meetings and that, and they're all sat down. You all got to have a camera. There you go. It's on your work. It's on you. You know what I mean?
I've definitely thought about it, Andy, and I do know it would probably be a lot. I mean, if we were to do something like that, the people who would be getting involved in that would definitely have to make sure they have cameras and audio. A little bit of nothing crazy, but we got to be able to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it might be something to look into to be able to do something online. And obviously, there'd be no certification in it. There's no nothing. You can have nothing to offer you to walk away with, but it would be like a weekly training, like you would a regular apprentice.
Other than hone your skills, help you hone your skills, because at the end of the day, you'd have like I say, at the end of the day, you'd have like this, you'd be here. You know what I mean? You'd have the camera down on their work as they're working. They'd have you on a screen. They can see what you're working on. It's a follow along while you're talking, and you can cut from one to the other. And then it's like, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to go through everything. It's, I mean, that's something Dave, I'll come up with an idea. That's something for you to look in.
Okay. Let's check out. We'll move on to Skylar. We go circle back to the apprenticeship conversations, whatnot. Once we hit the end of these, give us something to chat about at the end. It says, hello, my name is Skylar. Cryptic.ink on Instagram. I've been tattooing for about 2.5 years now. Here's a bat I did last week, trying out different things with mag lines. Right on. I would love to hear what you have to say about anything to improve. Included some practice skin I've been using to try and work on getting nice tips on my lines. All right, let's take a look at what we got. Ooh, those look pretty. Yeah, I like those. Using those tiny little needles, man, they're tough. I always give credit to people who can. These don't look too bad. They definitely add a lot of dynamics to a tattoo with such bold lines mixed with smaller line weights. But the tips of all these look really nice. You know what I mean? Real nice and feathered out. Boom. All of them. I think that's what they were talking about. They're working on trying to get that nice tip at the end of everything. Good practice, I'd say.
It's nice and sharp. It looks crisp. It looks like it's just, got in there and, whipped off.
Yeah, they probably went back in, maybe even with that fine needle they used for the smaller liner, and just really finished each one of those off. If that's the case, kudos to the detail.
Yep.
That's really, that's enough of those little things add up to something. Nice. Very nice. Here we have some more. Yeah. This all looks good. Very nice hand control, needle consistency. You get a little light in a few spots. And then these tiny little lines in here. Very smooth. Very smooth. Yeah.
And then you get down to the stem and how nice and even it is all the way down, the spacing. And the thorns, can you scroll in any further? It just got that little bit of a curve on inside that thorn, so it goes round the stem there.
Yeah.
Little attention to detail. That's what it's about. That's what the client deserves.
Yes. Yep. You can do a simple thing and make it look really good, or you can do a simple thing and make it look really bad. You did a very nice job here. You got really nothing that I could say to really change anything. Wow. These scales, man, look very consistent.
Yeah.
They got the koi style scales. Yeah. Did you use red? All the line work looks really crisp. Yeah. I think this is really nicely done, in my opinion. Even all the little details in the claws and stuff, you really drop down to the proper line weight.
Got nice that ribbon out, the feature down the back, and you see how it's crisp and pointed off.
Yeah.
What I am going to say, is it Skylar?
I believe so.
Is it Skylar? And it looks like Skylar. Whether you've taken this directly from somebody and used it, Skylar, or whether you've composed it yourself and taken a section of scales and laid it in here, what I will say is your scales.
Oh, they jump angles quick.
They're in wrong direction. As they come round, they come under head. They start coming the other way, but then they're facing down. They should be facing backwards. And then as they're facing backwards, and then as it gets to that curve, they're facing down again, which is the right direction. And as the curve under, they should be facing backwards.
Yeah, I see where you're talking
about. Not downwards on it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that jumps out. And then it comes around that section. The scales are a nice shape. And then as it comes down the base towards the tail, the scales in the right direction, then they go in the wrong direction coming around the tail, because scales will always point down the body. They always point down, the length of the body. So if that's the body, they'll always point that way down it. So you curve it, they will always still be pointing that way. They won't all of a sudden go from that direction to that direction. They'll go like that, and that's seeing it straight away when it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. When you're designing them, is to keep in mind the direction of the scales. Luckily, they were so consistently done, I didn't even notice it. So nice catch there. But as far as application goes, it's freaking bang on.
Yeah,
really, especially using red ink for all that, and it's all seems to be saturated nicely.
I'll tell you what's a good coloured ink to line with, Dave, and I love it to line when I've just. And I'm not saying because I've just swapped with it because I've tried a few lining with a few coloured inks. That radiant ink coloured pigment lines nicely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, as the intense inks would have always seemed to be a bit too thick. The radiant ink seems really nice. Skylar, look, it is what it is. It's stuff that I look for. We've all cocked up with bits and bats like this in the past. What I will say to you is, if at least you take away from this one that when you do your next one, you will look at it and think to yourself, that dick pointed out that scales were wrong. You know, going in wrong directions on my dragon. I'll show him. I'm going to make sure they're all going in right direction. Then my job's done. You know what I mean, Dave?
Yep.
You're taking something away from it. All's good. But as Dave says, the application. Oh, hey.
I didn't know we were going to get what we were going to get here. Man. Oh, my gosh. Look at all those lines. Oh, my gosh. They look so nice. And then to go right over top of that and shade that, it just gives such a beautiful texture to this piece. Same, and they carried it up into the ears, but kept only that style for certain parts, which is nice. It's not overly done. Oh, man, this is killer. I really like it. That rose, or whatever flower that is, that's banging. All the little lines, very well applied. Love it, dude. Love this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that wing on that bat alone and the inside of the two ears at the top, and absolutely boof, you know, on this. Flowers nice, everything. It's a striking piece. It's a really, really striking piece. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Lovely, man. And they just got I wonder if these are mag drags. Is this a mag drag? If so,
it could be.
Yeah, what a great way. I mean, is that what she was talking about? Maybe with the mags? Let me see. Or he, I don't know why I assume it's a she. Here's a bit I did. We're trying out with mag lines. Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, you did a really nice, using probably, obviously at this point, got to be standard needle grouping like number 12 style needles. But, that's inspiring. I have not really done a lot with mag drags, but the way that looks, I love that.
What'll be interesting, have they used a flat mag to drag it? Or I don't know whether you've ever seen them, Dave, or have they used a flat shader?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, right. Could be a flat shader. I don't use them, but if I would buy them just to do this sort of thing with them. So if you're there, Skylar, could you let us know?
Yeah,
what needle grouping did you use for this? These drags, they're really nice.
Because a flat shader's only got one row needles, isn't it? It's flat like a mag, but it's only got one row.
Right.
Needle.
And I know you could do this with the standard mag. I've just not really found a place to do it or really thought about it. So this is inspiring. Makes me, I don't know if mine will look as nice as this, but I'll definitely try to sneak it in somewhere in the future.
Cool, but I'm looking at the mag drag within the wings, and it looks like they've also got the curvature. They managed to get the curvature with the mag drag. You know
right. Right. Yeah, to keep that nice smooth flow as well. Yeah, and then obviously this dark next to this is a really nice contrast as well. Yeah, super cool, man. So yeah, there, Skylar, if you wouldn't mind sharing what needle grouping you use, like, I'm just throwing, it's a curved 11. I wouldn't even have guessed it was a curved mag. That's awesome. 11 curved mag. Standard number 12, I imagine it's got to be. I couldn't see it being a bug pin, but I was wrong once already, so who knows. Cool. Awesome. Definitely inspired by that. Thank you. Keep killing it. Keep killing. Oh my gosh. All right.
I'll do a toilet run, Dave.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to stop here with Kenny Robson. Kenny, you're going to be the last one if we get that far. Okay. Next up is Daniel Murphy. Hey, Dave and Andy. I figured I'd send in this miner's tattoo that I have done. I've included a reference in my drawing. I can see many mistakes myself, which I hope to fix when I go back to add to it. Please don't be too harsh, LOL. I really appreciate what you guys do. Thanks. Well, okay, man. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's pretty straightforward as far as reference. I see we got the hat. All right. This is the drawing, I guess we'll call it. Obviously, light. Got some greens. Just soaking this little guy in here and see what we got. All right. All right. Well, right off the bat, man, I'm sure you see these thicker lines through here. For whatever the lining you have going on down here looks a little bit more uniformed. It's still a bit hit or miss. This is much thicker, and then it rolls down into the next line at a different line weight. When it comes to, if you're using a line weight like for the outside of it, you really want to try to get it as consistent as possible. It looks somewhat consistent here, and then it kind of veers off. Where it really catches your eyes up here around this light bit here. Even when you're doing your lining the circle, I would say the lining in general is a bit off. Okay. I know it could be better. I'm sure you noticed that as well. I like the blue you have in here. I do like how you've shaded this. It feels like a rounded hat or whatnot. Highlight seems to be in a good spot. Even some of this dark stuff's pretty good. The light, on the other hand, is kind of throwing me off. If we come over here, you see how it's colored and comes out. Over here, we don't have that. We don't have these yellow rays in here. It looks like maybe you colored this whole bit green and then added the yellow. But the yellow looks like it's coming from behind the light. Where over here, it's coming out. And you can see this back area is lit yellow. But over here, it is the same. It's not lit properly. You want all this through here to be yellow so that it looks right. I would have lost these black lines on the outside. It's not necessary. You saturate the color nicely so it would breathe and read on its own. I was going to say the nose is off, but it actually looks the same as it does in the reference, so I can't really say much about that. But yeah, that would probably be what I'd have to say about that. But hey, man, it's the saturation looks okay. You need to focus on those lines. That way, in the future, if you're going to keep tattooing, you really rely on your lines, and they're a bit hit or miss throughout the whole thing. But hey, man, Daniel, thank you, man. I hope that helps you in some way, shape, or form. Okay, yes, Skylar says it is a 12. So we have a standard number 12, 11 curved mag for the mag drags. Awesome. Hey, we got some more Skylar's work. Wait, we already did these. Oh, wait. Okay. All right. So we'll look at the reference again because she just included a reference here. Hello, my name is Skylar. Blah, blah, blah. Tips. Okay. So she already said that. So this is what we looked at before. And now we have a bit of a reference. Oh, that's cool. So this is kind of like what you built it off of. It looks different the way you did it from this reference. But it's still really cool the way you did it.
Yeah.
Nice. I like what you were inspired by. I don't know if this was what somebody brought you and you morphed it and did your own thing with it, which is really cool or whatnot. But overall, still super slick. All right. Let's see. First tattoo, I'm going to go pee, but I'm going to read this and get you set up, Andy, and then I'll be right back as well. This water's flowing through me. First tattoo on human skin, just a process of the stencil. Also haven't shaded it yet. Have to practice more on shading first. Okay, let's see. We'll start here.
So we've got a stencil, which the stencil's looking like it's pretty clean, pretty smooth, as if it might have been done on some sort of digital, and then onto a paper stencil printer. So it's looking pretty cool.
Definitely. All right, Smoke. We'll catch you later, brother. Thank you for being here. And hopefully the guy you want to win the wrestling match wins the wrestling match. All right, next. Okay, here we go. We got it on the skin. That's a big tattoo right there. Woo, man. First tattoo on human skin. That's a big one.
And I tell you what, it's on the front of the leg.
Yeah. All right.
So got them sat right, for skin already being pre-stretched, so you're not going to have to stretch it too much further. So this is going to be interesting now, because, like I say, you've got them sat right, stretched pretty much right, least stretched. So it's all going to be down to technical application and your ability from here on in.
Later, Danik. Appreciate you hanging out, dude. Take care. You got to go be the boss for a little while. I understand that. All right. So, yeah, that's a big one. Okay, we got a little in-action work here. Right on. Okay. Got the machine wrap, gloves on. Right on. And what? Okay, was this under like some sort of red fluorescent lighting? Huh, maybe the next photo's got less.
This makes it hard to read because whatever lighting you've got on, but that line around its backside.
Do you want, which photo do you want, this one or the other one while I'm gone for a few minutes?
What was the other one, Dave?
This one.
Right, leave it there.
All right, is that right there?
Like I say, right.
I'll be right back.
What I'm going to say to you is on this one, you've seen your stencil, you've seen how it should be and how it's made. This line round its backside is jacked. You've double banged it. The line weight is a lot heavier. You've got to be able to see this in comparison to some of the other lines that you're running through this elephant, along with the line that's running round the outside of the ear to the top and the inside of the ear. In places, mate, it looks like you've absolutely, it looks chopped. And they won't be surprised if they don't have a rough heel on this. It does look chopped, as if you've either been running too slow, your machine's been too fast, or some combination along there. Again, with the cloudage, the right-hand side of the cloudage, you can see how heavy you've got the line work again there, compared to what I'm assuming is the left-hand side. So again, I'll be honest, this is looking, it might look like a simple tattoo, but because it's so big with such long lines, that this is where everything is going to show up. The lines on the tail are really thick. Does look, unfortunately, we have got like a weird glow, like an orange light or whatever on this. It does look on the very tip of it. It's looking dark in the open space. Could be a bit blown out. But I'm more bothered that you should have just picked a fatter liner, maybe an 11 liner or a 9 round shader, and gone round this, because again, like I said, the line on the elephant's backside and the lines on the outside of the cloud, the tail, you've had a couple of goes at going over them, and unfortunately they're jacked. The ones on the ears as they go around, they look absolutely drilled in places to a point that they may be a bit scarred and whatever. But again, it is looking a little bit, using an 11 round liner. Right, 9 round shader may have been better, because look at the lines. Because look at the lines going through the trunk, look at the lines on the front legs compared to the line work on the elephant's backside, the line weight, the line thickness. don't match up.
Yeah, machine angle is going to be a big deal here too, Andy.
Yeah,
It looks
I
like
mean,
they're approaching
whether
different
it's
lines at different angles, which are going to give you different depth or different thicknesses of your line.
yeah, whether you're not stretching the skin far enough, but like I say, some of them lines, whether he's running the machine either too fast or he's running his hand too slow, I don't know. But they're carved in the double banged 11 round liner. Like I say, you miss on that second line with an 11 round liner, this is what your lines will come out like. Like I say, you look over the top of the elephant there where it goes over, it starts and then it gets really fat on the top corner, then it thins out again a little bit, and as it gets to the back towards the head, it fattens up again. These are all the things. What I will say, unfortunately, is it Decan? Is it Decan or yeah? It should be. You missed the mark on the lining. I think what you should do is maybe dial it back, work a bit smaller, because it might seem better working bigger, but unfortunately, when you've got to start pulling your hands over, you've got to have this technique. When you're pulling your hands, pulling lines straight, it's elbow, shoulder, pulling it straight, free flowing. You got to make sure you've got that stretch going on and everything. Yeah, I think you're bitten off a bit more than you could chew here. In my eyes, should have worked smaller.
I do, and somebody left a comment. We'll read it though. Let's see. People that don't know how to draw should never even touch a tattoo machine. You should already be an artist before attempting to make the jump to tattooing. And to be fair, I do agree. There are people who have like developed both skills at the same time, but I definitely agree to an extent because, like I've said, I'm not gonna, it's like entering into anything. Like I'm not going to go start running marathons if I haven't ran or if it's not something that's in me, unless, I started running, I started preparing. I don't know. There's ways to do it, but as a whole, yes, you should probably have some sort of drawing background, artistic background of some kind, because you're entering into something that is very, very hard. And so if you're entering in without some sort of artistic background, you're setting yourself up for failure in the long run, unless you're playing the game very, very slow and patiently, where you're learning a technique while also on the side, honing in, watching, learning, and trying to really become, I guess, get the artistic stuff in the background. Andy, what do you think? Do I take a different?
Yeah, I mean, I've got this big thing that you should have some artistic thing, because my analogy is like this, right? Would you jump in a swimming pool and try to attempt to swim the length of a swimming pool if you couldn't
There
swim?
you go. That's a better analogy. Thank you.
Would you do it? You wouldn't, would you? Knowing that you couldn't swim, you wouldn't jump in the swimming pool knowing that you couldn't swim that length. Now, you see, my thing is that you need some sort of art, and I'm not saying you've got to be Pablo Picasso or you've got to be some sort of amazing artist. You've got to be competent at art. Now,
yeah,
because you lose a stencil or you lose a bit of stencil, and yeah, you've got a reference, but you've still got to be able to draw that on. You've still got to be interpret it, draw it on. You can't put your iPad on somebody's leg, digitally draw it, I don't like it, erase it, draw it, erase it, and then all of a move your iPad away and that line be on the leg. You can't. You've got to do it. Then you've got to know tones, lights, darks, shades, tones, colours, whatever, how it all works, fundamental basics of it all.
Yeah.
If you haven't got the fundamental basics of drawing, to me, and fundamental basics and competent to draw on paper, why should you become? If you're not competent to draw on paper and you can't draw on paper, what makes you think you can draw on skin?
And I agree. And no one's saying you got to be amazing artist, but you got to have something before you jump in. You got to be able to at least doggy paddle before you start, and then you can get in there. And as my artistic ability has grown as I've been in it, but I used to draw my whole life. It will come back to you a little bit, but then at the same time, you're pouring into your tattooing, you're pouring into your artistic skills as well at the same time. But if you're coming in without anything, I mean, that's so hard. I mean, it's so hard. It's going to be such an uphill battle. And we don't talk about that a lot here. Probably should, but we don't, because we're just like trying to help people. But to go back, and that's why it's really great on your channel right now, Andy, what you're doing over there.
Yeah. And that's what I was just about to say to you, Dave. That's why over on my channel at the minute, it's art-based. For people that are tattooing, and that it's all art-based, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah,
we want to see your artwork. We want to see your drawings.
The whole process all the way through.
Yeah, we want it over on my channel. I'm trying to push you with your art side of it and your drawing side and your drawing skills, which then you can translate into tattooing. So that's how we're doing it at the minute. Now, she wanted it bold. Yeah, I understand that she wanted it bold. There's a difference between wanting it bold and messing the line work up. Because the line work, there's no consistency. I'm not right sure how to pronounce your name, and I do apologise if I pronounced it wrong. And I do understand we all get clients that want it bold. So what you should do is then work smarter. You should be using, if you wanted it bold, if you wanted a bold line round the outside of it, 11 round liner at some at this size is not really going to be bold. A 14 round shader would be.
Yeah. You'd have to use a couple line weights at that point when you're doing some of these smaller bits inside.
Yeah, but a 14 round shader, that would have been, and it's a learning process. It is a learning process, but you shouldn't be learning like this on somebody's skin.
Or that big. I mean, this
not that big.
This is not, you know what I mean? You have to be thinking of everything as well and telling a client, no, I'll do this. I'll do it smaller, because it is a learning process. So you can't jump in and just do these big things and expect things to work out. Because there's so much to learn as you go along. So I would say size is definitely a big issue. You're way too big, bit off a little bit more than you could chew. And while it's not horrible, it's not unredeemable. It's just a little all over the place when it comes to the lining of it.
It's like I say, I mean, again, as a responsible artist and a responsible learning artist, part of your responsibility is to be able to say, okay, look, no, that's above where I am at the minute.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not just, I'll draw on your skin. You know what I mean? Too big. And then you're like, you'll go super big. It's like, no, I'm only working on stuff this big. So, if you want that design, I can do it. Maybe not on your thigh. How about on the side of your leg, on your ankle, on back of your arm, something like that. That as a responsible artist, you've got to be able to work within your competency levels. And that's just something you've got to be able to do. But I'm sure you will get there. Practice.
Sorry.
Go on, Dave.
No. Sorry, but I was just saying, keep it small. That was in a nutshell. Yeah.
We've seen that one out with Skylar.
Yeah, we did. That's Inkton Sean. Let's see. All right. Bunch of tattoos, no references. So we'll buzz through these kind of quickly there. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, those look like some nice lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. Going all the way down the back there. Not bad. You got the right amount of contrast. It's a bit darker skin, but that contrast is really nice here.
Butterflies looking fairly even.
Yeah.
Bottom leaf on left-hand side looks like it's missing some black up to top at leaf, but other than that, to top at wing, sorry, not the leaf.
Yeah, right there. I don't know if that, it almost looks intentional. You see over here, Andy, how it's kind of like feathered out?
Yeah.
It looks intentional. I'm not sure why, but it does look intentional.
But again, other than that, very minimalistic for, shall we say, a back tattoo. Very minimalistic, covering a lot of space. But it is what it is. It looks fairly clean. Lines look fairly in. And it is what it is.
Yeah, lining looks good. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick, I'm just looking at it right now before really focusing. I'm having a hard time. No, oh, I see it now. Do you see it,
I can
Andy,
see
now?
I can see the lion's nose in the middle, and I can't see the rest of it.
Okay, just saw it. This is the hard part of this tattoo, in my opinion. It's really hard to read. You can't tell what's happening. You know something's there, but you can't see it. I'll show it to you, Andy. There's a like a face here, an armor helmet,
Oh, yeah.
an
Yes,
arm
I've
coming
got it
down.
now.
Yeah, you can see it. Once you see it, you can see it, but
Yeah.
it's able to separate the two enough to where your eye can really see it. Obviously, pump some white in there to try to help, in my opinion. But it gets a little hard to decipher it. Hey, have a good one, Ravens Anchor. Appreciate it. Oh, storms in your area. Dang, where you at? Hopefully you stay safe, man. Oops, how do I make that? There we go. All right, that'd probably be it for that one. So we got a lot of them. He sent quite a few, so we're gonna go through pretty quick.
I quite like that.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
For what it is, I'm looking at the box. The line, it looks fairly lightly lined.
Yeah.
For such a fine liner, the lines are looking pretty goddamn bang on. The
Right.
jumper's looking black. That nice little bit of red in the face for blood. I like how it's done there. Yeah, I like it. Clean banger of a tattoo. Clean banger tattoo. You know what I mean?
Yo, for sure. Oops. Let me get my chat back. There we go. Yep.
Yeah,
a little ladybug. Looks nice. Cute little thing. Must be the angle the photo is taking. There's so much glare on all of that.
Yeah, but I think we're meant to be, I don't know if we're meant to be looking at Ladybird. Ladybird's nice.
I don't know which one we're supposed to be looking at.
Banger of a tattoo. Yeah, sound.
Yeah, nice little ladybug. Nothing. I like that little highlights on it. Color saturated nicely. All right. Rawr. You've seen these done so many times that
I hope that don't say raw, because that says rare.
Rare? I don't know. You know, is it rare? Is it rar? Is it
rare?
I guess. Obviously the person wanted it to say rare.
Hope we didn't want to say raw.
I hope, yeah, right.
Hope we don't want to say raw because it says rare.
I don't know. I'm not digging this.
No.
It just feels
weak.
Like it could, another hour or so, really adding more to it. We just have a very minimalistic piece here. Even the eyes feel very flat. It just could have been so much more done to it. Just
don't feel finished.
No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Rare though. Rare. Hey, Inkton Sean, thanks for saying work in, man. Overall, not bad. Just a couple of our opinions on a few things, but you know, guys, we're only going to Kenny here. Oh, jeez, we're running out of time. Morgan is up next. Does Morgan say, okay, I couldn't find an apprenticeship that I can afford. I've been watching a lot of online and filled a lot of fake skin. I just had the wild hair to tattoo myself. Okay. Okay. Well, it's on your leg, but you can clearly see where things didn't go the greatest here. Some of these lines are just really drilled in. On the brink of either blown out or just scarred at some degree. Some things to look at here. We got blowouts over here. I know it's early on, but we'll try to stop those lines where they're supposed to stop. We got some more blowouts over here. It looks like you're getting a little heavy with your hand here. These lines, unfortunately, quite all of them, to be fair, to give you an honest opinion, all these lines are off. They're either too harshly put in or they're jagged, meaning you're not got a smooth, consistent movements to them. They're blown out pretty heavy or a good stretch. It could be just a lack of a stretch in some regards, but I would definitely maybe try to hone. I'd love to see those fake skins that you're talking about. I mean, we could look at them and tell how you're progressing on those, and then look at this and be able to, give you some pointers a bit more. But just looking at this, I definitely would tell you to just back off that skin. You got a taste of it. Now go back to those fake skins and see how much better they have to be. I don't know, Andy.
Scale down. Scale your size down. Again, you can do this. You could probably do this design at a third at size. Some fake skin first. Some of your hand movements. You're not having to go like this to do stuff. You can work within comfortable hand movements to get your lines in. And everything. But I would say dial it back. And unfortunately, dial it back, go back to fake skin, scale your size down, hone your line working. You do really need to get that line work honed in before you do this, because as Dave says, some of this line work is really running on the ragged edge of
unfortunately, it's not a lot of redeeming qualities, to be fair. I mean, if you zoom out, is it there? Do we see what it is? Yes. But are we actually getting anywhere? If you continue on like this, no.
Right.
And that's why we're always saying do smaller stuff, because you do some smaller stuff if you can. And like Andy said, the hand doesn't have to move as far. And if it gets bad, you can go, okay, I see where my deficiencies are. Let me go practice some more over here. Let me do some of this, come back, maybe do another small 1 month later and really visually see the improvements. So that would be
just before we think, Dave.
Yeah.
Just think, Darlene. Right, I was not prepared for the difference between fake skin and real skin. Look, I'll give you this tip, and I'll give you this tip again, and I've told apprentices, and even, I think, Casey, she went on here, she even took this tip. She worked with this tip and everything. Look, you got your fake skin, you've got it down on an hard surface. It's not going anywhere. You don't really have to stretch it. There's no giving it. Boom. Basically, you're just making art and getting used to it on hard surface. Then when you've gone from there, best thing to do is get a thick piece of mat, maybe half-inch thick, bit of foam or whatever, put it on. You'll find that your surface starts giving. So you've got to press down on it, and push out. So there's a lot more giving it like real skin. The other one is get a round of couch roll, kitchen towel or whatever, put it on there, do your stencil, put it over the curved surface, tape it round. That way then it acts like a leg, a forearm, top of an arm. You're having to push on it. You're having to learn pull straight lines over curved surfaces, work with curved and squashy surfaces, and it will set you up so much better for transferring over onto skin than just coming off a rock hard surface, over your desk or anything, and trying to go on skin. That's just my honest opinion, and it's a good transitional point is to put foam and then work over some couch roll or kitchen towel before you transition onto skin. It just gets you used to it.
Definitely. It is a different thing, but it's all we got to practice with, Let's see. Next up we have, I'll try to get through a few more, guys. We'll see how far we can get. Hi, just started practicing on fake skin. Been drawing on paper. This is my first. Any advice? Thanks, Ken, UK. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It don't look bad.
No, I can see he's got some sort of drawing skills.
Yeah, that's what's shining through right now. It's all in the shading, it really, and all the little texture. I gotta give it to him. I like the texture in the skull.
Go ahead, Andy. What is screaming out to me, obviously, is your, how can I put it, technical ability with a tattoo machine.
Right. Which makes sense. This is early, but yeah.
Yes, it does. It does make sense. E.g., knowing what you're going to get out of each needle configuration, obviously, and your washes and things like that. You can see where you're shading. Obviously, using a curve mag, brushing it in will get you a softer finish. Whereas you go in with a round liner or whatever, that that ink's going to go straight in. It's going to give you dark straight away when you've got it in. It's going to give you more of a crisp texture instead of a softer texture. As we've said, I can see that you're not basing there. I mean, what I do particularly like it for what is the teeth on this skull for some reason. I keep looking at them and I'm thinking, saying they look all cracked and broken and, you know, knackered and everything. So we're there. But again, you need to get your technical ability with a machine and your understanding of a machine together. And unfortunately, that will mean starting smaller, working out and getting your line in, working out how your shaders do. How much pressure do I need to put on? What voltage do I need to use? If I just whip shading or am I pepper shading, am I packing? All your different things. Unfortunately, the tattoo industry is, and learning a tattoo over the years, it's virtually been tried and tested, Dev. Am I wrong? You start with your small stuff, you're going for your fundamental basics, your lining and everything, and working your way up. And it's proven, it's tried and tested, and that's how it goes.
Yeah. I think that for this in here, clearly he knows how to shade stuff, protection. There's artistic background here, clearly, in my opinion. Just looking at like what they've been able to do very early on with the tattoo machine. But I would encourage you, while you develop more technique when it comes, like Andy was saying, shading and whatnot, but also work on the lines, because obviously these are put in very sort of scratchily, very thin like. Obviously you like to do more of like realistic like things or semi-realism, but you're going to want to have those techniques, being able to line with various line weights. So work on that. And then obviously shading techniques. It's going to help you get the look you're going for easier in the long run if you spend time working on that now. And then if you really hone that stuff in and come back and do this piece again, we'll be looking at something far better, in my opinion. But again, this is a really great place to start. It shows a lot of potential. And I hope that you continue to send stuff to us, Kenny. In the future as you progress along here. All right, we're going to move a little quicker here, guys. This one has no information, but it does look pretty nice. I really like the light tones and the open skin in this.
Yeah.
A lot of open skin. It breathes. You can tell these are waves.
Yeah. What I do like is, see how that lighthouse pokes up?
Yeah.
And you've just got that hint, a wave crashing over it, but it obscures the lighthouse and everything.
Right.
I think it's a nicely thought out tattoo, nicely executed tattoo. For me, the only one at the bottom is the bottom wave takes a little bit of reading. And then as it goes up the arm, I just find it a little bit easier to read. But I do think it's a nice tattoo. I do think it's well executed. And it looks well. Yeah,
it looks nice. Nothing really crazy to say. Anything we would say would be very much just what's the word I'm looking for? Like opinionated, as far as, hey, maybe you could have done this, maybe you could have done that. But as a whole, it looks good. Thanks for sending it in. We are a little bit past what we were normally going to look at. So if you feel like maybe we're moving a little quick, it's because we are. Just so the people that have them in right now.
Yeah, otherwise we will, to be fair, we'd have cut you short.
Yeah, yep.
But there's a few in, but we're just willing to stay on.
This one's
into his chat and bullshit time here.
Yeah, you're cutting into our BS time. Another B about 2x2, first time trying color. Okay, we are zoomed in pretty close. Yeah, I like the little color they put in here. I'm assuming. Yeah, let's look at the other photo, see if there's a. Yeah, okay.
I generally like it. I like the bit of orange, the bit of yellow, the bit of black, the white. The only thing I would say, for me, personal preference on the off, is in the wings where you've used like this reddy colour. Think about using a super light blue, like a aquamarine or something that has a tendency in bees' wings to look better than them sort of colours. But again, that's your artist choice.
definitely.
But not looking bad with all them little legs, little furs, little and everything and that. And I think somebody's happy with this.
Yeah, I think so. I think it looks pretty good. I got nothing crazy there. It's so small too. I mean, you can only get so much in a little
Of course you
guy.
can. Of course you can.
Get those tiny needles, you know what I mean? All right, tattoo critique. Howdy, I've been tattooing on and off for about 7 years. Right on. I just moved to a new city and it feels like starting over, looking for new clientele. I feel you, man. I'm gonna be there. I'm not, whatever.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, these are a few of my favorite pieces I've done in the past. Sincerely, Kumo. You want to see more, you can follow Kumo at Kumo_ATX on Instagram. All right, let's take a look at what he's got. Hey, that looks cool. Very dark, right behind the ear. I feel like maybe the body might be a little fat, but then again, it is kind of blending right into the wings there. Just a couple little open dots up at the top. Yeah, okay. We'll buzz across. Hey, that looks good.
This is good.
Yeah, I like that. Decent color work in there.
Little bit of underlying shading.
Yeah.
Decent colour work. Bit of tonal work in there. It's got some little bits shading in there. You know, deeper colours in the hair, you know, to give thing.
Right. And I think when this heals out, like, you know how when you put some lines and stuff and then you color over top of it, you know, the lines kind of dull out. But when it heals, it comes back through. So some of the little details in the mouth and stuff might come back too a little stronger after it heals out.
I like the little touch of the hair. It's got a fine line down one side and it's used a slightly fatter line down, fatter bit of black down the other side of there just to give it that bit of depth.
Yeah.
Super cool. Super cool.
Oh, this looks cool. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Oh, look, we got some more mag drag going on here, Andy.
Yeah.
Again, it looks pretty cool. I like the technique. I feel like maybe the circle around the outside could have been a little smoother, but again, those are a pain in the butt. But we give it our all and hope for the best. Yeah. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Pretty cool piece. Fits the arm nicely. Yeah. Nothing crazy to say there. We got a little AK. I like the wood grain they put in there. Yeah. I think they really nailed the wood grain. The metal looks right. Yeah, nice piece there as well.
Yeah, it looks well, does this? Like I say, you got the wood grain, then got your highlights. It gives that mag as if it's got, ridges running down it and everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that wood grain too. That's nice. Okay, this one's a bit harder to read. I'm assuming it's not complete or finished. So as it stands here, it's a bit confusing, but I can clearly see the head, the body moving back, the waves coming over. This would be really cool to see finished because you can see they started to shade part of it down here. And if they get the right amount of contrast and separation between the different things, it could really pop. I'm curious if this is going to be in color or black or gray.
It's very hard to read.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing right now, to be fair. But, hey, thanks for letting us take a look at it. And, yeah. Okay, on the case of boogieing through, we got Legends 09. First 3 tattoos I did on my wife at her request. I can be a bit harsh on myself, noticing that the back half of the whale was a different angle. The pinky on the hand was a 2-pass, but I didn't do a second pass on the rest. The black sheep is where I felt a bit out of my element with packing black. She tapped a bit early. Over positive feedback from good folks. Let's see, we got to use a 7-round liner for all the line work and a 14 standard round mag for the packing. Now I understand that everybody loves. Yeah. Okay. So I do see the curvature he's talking about back here. It got a little away from him there as far as the wonkiness. Some of these lines look like you're on the border of getting a little too heavy, a little too deep. Maybe you're moving your hand a little too slow for the voltage. Maybe slow it down a little bit. Pull your needle in a little bit, or a mixture of the two. You got to find that because the front half, I I like this. This looks pretty good. A couple spots are a little close, but not bad. The back half is where it got away from you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, whether the line weights were intentional or unintentional, because obviously you got the back half of the wheel, we've got a decent thick line weight. The dorsal fin on its back looks a little bit off for me. I know it's got a fatter line, but then right at the top, you've got a fatter line into a thinner line.
Yeah.
Under the thing seems to have a fatter line. I can understand the mouth having that single pass line that runs down the wheels, like, is it mouth or whatever? That's a nice line.
Yeah.
Obviously, then you've got over the top at head. Just be careful you start and stop, because you cross over into dorsal fin with your line. Again, like David can see, just be careful. Just take your time. Make sure this stuff's not getting away from you.
All right, I do see
the
pinky there. That unfortunately, if that pinky wasn't double banged like you were talking about there, it would be a bit more consistent.
You see, this is, to be fair, Dave. You see that little pinky where it's double banged on outside?
Yeah.
If it had double banged and kept that thickness, then just going over the backs of the knuckles, down that finger, round that thumb, and then back to the bottom, it'd have looked on purpose.
Yeah, you could have you could always go back and thicken
just go over
around, just make it look like it's like a thicker line weight around the outside. But you know what's great again, Andy, is these aren't crazy tattoos. I mean, this doesn't look huge. It might be about yay big, I'm guessing. I don't know. This little hand is really small, so you're learning on a smaller scale. You're seeing the imperfections. Like, damn, what did I do wrong there? Boom, 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 boom. Go ahead, Andy.
You hit the nail on the head there. He's actually spotting his own imperfections after, and that's what it's about.
Yes.
Paying attention is going in and saying, God damn, I could have done that a bit better. I could have done this. So if he can see him himself, he's going to take that directly on board. Do you know what I mean? He's going to take it directly on board and look at it for future tattoos. It's not as if you're just thinking, it's fine, it'd be right. He knows. He wants to get better. He knows. He can see this.
Right. Yep. And that's it. I mean, you see it now. So you adjust fire, whatever that means to your process, but you adjust fire. All right. This one's probably the roughest of the bunch, in my opinion. Not even because of the black. I'd say it's actually these lines that are kind of the feet that are kind of, in my opinion, they're different line weights. This is thicker and a little, hesitant feeling. And this is thinner and a little bit smoother. So two different feet immediately pop out at you. The black is not bad. It's definitely some of the better saturated black for people who are just first saturating black. It looks like he kind of did his best to get right up to these lines. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's not looking overworked, Dave.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And if there's a light spot in here, when it heals, you can always go back into it. I would say the focus would be on the lines for me. Go ahead.
Is there a second skin already on that?
I don't think so.
I'm looking at the lines. Can you see the wrinkle just above his head?
Yeah, I see those wrinkle marks you're talking about. I see them down here.
You usually get that when you put second skin on.
Right. I don't know. I don't see the line of the actual. No. You know what I mean? But I do know what you're talking about. I was thinking maybe they took it off.
I don't know. Rather than the packing, I'd spend more time looking at your line weights and getting your line consistency more. Because, like Dave says, then the thing that screams out on this is the left leg to the right leg. Right. On this. Just remove the second skin before picture, so it had second skin on it.
Okay, it did look like it was taken off. Okay. Okay. Well, overall, though, I mean, at least you're keeping them small and you're seeing your own imperfections. Now you got to do something about it. Now you got to try to adjust fire. That can be the challenge,
and that's where, like you say, some bit of fake skin might help you. Just popping onto a bit of fake skin here and there. You know what I mean? Just to try and work out and get a bit of smoothness. And that, I'm not saying sit there and work on it full time, but just to help you out, get a bit of confidence back. You just never know.
That's right. Okay, our last one, of course, there's a bunch here. Hey man, my name is Andrea. We'll go with Andrea. Whatever, we'll go with that. And I've started tattooing 6, 7, 8 6, 7, 8 months ago. I don't know. Not really sure. I really want an opinion from a tattoo artist about my work to know what I can do wrong and what I can do good. All right, Andy, we're going to take a look at these real quick, and then we'll pick one that you want to talk about because, man, I don't know what's going on. My bladder's calling me again. All right, so we'll just do a quick skim through.
Boat Scholar in that one. Let's have a look. Jump next one, Dave.
Yep.
That one's covered in air, so I'm not even going to critique it.
Right. Didn't we look at this one the other? I think we've seen this one recently.
No, I can't remember seeing it.
No? Okay.
Not with the red in the forehead.
There's a reference.
I've seen something like it.
Script.
Yeah, it's handwritten script.
That's a fun little guy.
It is.
Okay.
See, I like that one. It fits.
Do you want you want this one or you want the first one we looked at?
No, I'll take this one.
Is this a good spot right here?
Yeah, then enough. I mean, like I say,
I'll be right back.
I mean, what I'm looking at this one, and is it Andre? I'm not right sure. But what I'm saying, this fits the back of the leg. It's got nice tapered in on the back of the leg. Some sort of design or whatever. I can't remember the name off the top of my head what these are called. But for all intents and purposes, what I'm going to say is them blacks are in. They're nice. It looks crisp. It's solid. Everything looks on purpose. Pomade, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, hopefully catch you on the next one. I don't know if you're about on Thursday when we're over on my channel. We'll probably, I've got some artwork coming in and end up BSing and bull crapping. And I don't know what happened last week, but I also ended up looking at people's tattoos over them. They emailed them in, so I just ended up looking at them. But hey, let me get back to this. But again, it looks solid. It looks intentional. It looks on purpose. It looks super saturated. I like the design. I like the fit of the design and everything and how it comes down at the bottom. And I think it's a good, solid, bulletproof tattoo, Dave. It's approved, tried and tested design. I know a lot of people are liking these at the minute.
Yeah. And it, like you said, Andy, it's solid saturation. I don't see anything that looks overly done. No blowout areas. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, nothing to say about that one. You know, this one is what it is. Good little small practice piece.
Line it. This looks pretty clean. It's joined up. I'm looking at the line. The line weight looks even. You know, predominantly through it all, Dave. It doesn't so much. I'm looking over onto. I'm not going to really. And it is what it is. It's not a bad bit of script. It's even. It's consistent. You know, all the way through. I won't really say I can see any. You know, super light part, super dark. It is super consistent, and I think it is what it is. It's just well done for what it is and where it is. Yeah, single line script. It looks consistent throughout. Let's take a look here at this piece. The lining looks good. Nothing's like jumping out, going like, "Ooh, that line looks a little rough." Or those series of lines. What I will say, one thing I would pick out on, just watch for your crescent. It's got a little dip in the middle. I don't know. We do have a reference for this, so unless that dips in the base of the crescent, let me find that reference. No, so just watch out on that. Obviously, you haven't put the earrings in. You know, the cat's ear. Yeah. I'd love to see this finished, unless this is finished. If it is, I feel like it's lacking. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think. Go ahead. No, I think you're right, Dave. I think if it's finished, you've copped out. Yeah, for sure. You've copped out there from not shading it or whatever. I would like to see it finished I think it can make one hell of a tattoo with the use of shading and types of shading.
Right. There's a lot you could do here. I'm just curious to see
Yeah.
what you end up doing. If you do end up finishing this, love to see it in the future. But for what we have, though, I mean, it looks pretty good. It looks good. There's nothing really crazy going on. Nothing, aside from what Andy said about that crescent there. The black seems well saturated. Lines are pretty consistent. So obviously that black is very well saturated here. I mean, this is one of those, it is what it is, and it doesn't look bad.
No, doesn't look blown out. Doesn't look blown out or anything. It looks to have healed in well. And it is what it is. It's just a simple hanging of a tattoo.
And then we come here to this one, and I'm probably a little further in than I need to be fair. And again, I really go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say again, thing that pops out to me. Just move out just a tiny little bit, Dave. That's a bit too far. I could go back in a bit, Dave. Again, like I say, that crescent pops out to me, but I generally straight in looking at them because I know where it's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
The little lines that are above the crescent, they look a little bit weak,
inconsistent,
especially the tiny little ones, where they've got them 3 tiny little ones.
Yeah.
They could be a little bit cleaner. Generally, not so bad. The center of the butterfly, the body of the butterfly, I think would have worked solid black on this. I would
absolutely,
be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
It just needed some solid black in it somewhere, and the flower in the left-hand wing is a little bit lost. Could do with a bit more shading and a little bit separation on shading. I just think within the butterfly on this one, it's missing some dark. It's a thing. And
then careful, like this line right here. I mean, some of them get away from you, but this one looks like it might have gotten a little further. It's smooth. I mean, it's rounded. It looks like it might be a bit deep. These swirly things are always a pain in the butt, but it looks like for the most part, you got them pretty good. You said, Andy. Oh, go ahead.
You got rest of this, Dave. I'm just going to nip to toilet myself.
Yeah, no problem. But like Andy said, I mean, if you just look at this piece, the only thing that catches your eye real heavy and hard would be right here, the crescent. The rest, minus, you could black that out. You could do things here or there. But the main thing that catches your eye is the crescent moon, which they're just a pain in the butt, and you got to take your time with them. Even if it means sometimes I don't like to sculpt lines personally. I like to get in, run them, and get out. But something like that, it wouldn't be the end of the world to kind of maybe slowly build that up a little bit. There's a time and a place, in my opinion, when you really can't screw the pooch on something or it catches your eye too much. That would probably be about it. And look at that. We have made it through all of them. Let's move them around so we're looking at each other. I'm here to learn. That is awesome, guys. I hope that through these live streams, you guys can pick something up. You know what I mean? Me and Andy don't claim to be anything. We're not. We're just a couple of tattooers who enjoy it and, like sharing whatever little information we have. And sometimes somebody can learn something. Sometimes they can't. It is what it is. We're not going to catch every little detail, nor are we going to point out every little detail. But hopefully, if you guys watch these live streams enough, or maybe go back and watch some of them, you'll see a lot of redundancy. So you can start realizing and looking at your own work and going, okay, all right, yeah, I do have those same things. Yes, this isn't quite where it needs to be. So hopefully it's a catalog of tattoo critiquing that you can use to help you better look at your own work and realize what you're doing. And I still, to this day, and will always be trying to improve. And what I have found is that it comes down to a lot of little things. And if they're tedious at times, but because when you look at someone else's work, you really look at it, really try to find, man, what makes this thing what it is? A lot of times I find it is the details in a piece. It is the crisp thing coming off here. It's the bold, really slowly, well-saturated tone. It's the blend that really pushes through. it's that soft shading or the properly, smartly put black. You know, sometimes I'll zoom in, look, or not even zoom in, just kind of like get a good look at a black and gray piece. And it's like, man, why is this thing so dynamic? And a lot of times it's just really smart contrast, really well-placed black with the right amount of open skin, with the right amount of soft shading. And you can look at a million of them, but then when you go to do it, it's always harder. It's always like, dang, why I wish there was more black in this, blah, blah, blah. So you're always back and forth trying to better yourself as you go. But anyhow, Andy is back. Andy, we made it through all of them.
We got them all done. I was just listening to that. And again, that's why I say, that's why we're trying to also have a look at your artistic skills, your drawing, to see whether that's somewhere roundabout, you know, because obviously if you're drawing somewhere roundabout and you understand where to put on paper, where to put your lights and your darks and how heavy to go, then we can say, well, yeah, you can do it on paper. Why are you not taking that leap, you know, and committing on skin? Because you, as a tattoo artist, and one of the hardest things to do is you have also got to rely on black. You do use black. Black is the key element to
it really is.
moving the dynamics of your tattoo about. So this is why, like I said, I mean, we're trying to also get you to send in, not on Dave's channel, but on mine, your pencil drawing, your pencil drawing and stuff. We have set, shall we say, an art challenge and a bit of a, how can you put it? A bit of a guidelines as to what we want to see. And then we're going to take a look at your pencil drawings and hopefully bring you along to tattooing it.
And if you guys want to get involved in that, if you're not aware, Andy's channel is _tattoo_studio, the tattoo studio, _tattoo_studio. And on Thursday nights, Andy's live over there. Sometimes I'm there these days. Sometimes I'm not.
Well, what I did last week is we went through. Somebody said some part drawing in, and I totally understand because it takes me forever to draw. You know, when I'm drawing like that, some people are going to send it in. I'll be honest with them. We were chatting. Some people sent the odd tattooing, and they only sent maybe like one submit, one thing. But what I did is I didn't get so many, so I opened them up and I took a real close in-depth and went round, the tattoo virtually line by line for them, Dave. You know what I mean? And showing them what to look at when they're saturating a line, and what it should be. But it was just one of them things. Just had a hang out, good time, got through the art, went through the art, questions, answer the questions, and then again I had a bit of a, for want of a better word, mini critique, once a minute, but it was just a mini critique.
Well, that's good. And somehow we've come to the point where we've been able, if we shoot for 2 hours, Andy, we're finishing pretty consistently in 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, wow, we do 2 hours, we'll get this done. But seems to be, but if I shoot for 3 hours, then we'll be here for 5. So we'll do it for 2, end in 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them things. I think on Thursday, I'll keep it short and sweet. And then about 2 hours, I ended up flapping my lips for 2 hours and I was on screen on my own. It was like after 2 hours, like, Jesus, what did I manage to flap my lips for 2 hours for? Like,
it's amazing. Let's see. Weird. Amber says, are we doing critiques tonight? Where do I send my work? We are just finished. We've been live for 3 hours now. And me and Andy are just doing our last 3 minutes of BSing. And if you guys got any questions the last couple minutes, feel free to send them in. But we really only got a few minutes left. So,
Dave's putting together a online live Zoom, shall we say, apprenticeship?
Yeah, maybe in the coming year or so. Yeah. Oh, you just got the notification? Gosh darn it! YouTube sucks. Hey, whatever.
I'll throw you under the bus, Dave. You know what I mean?
it's a great. I've thought about it many times when people were asking before I did critiques. Thought, well, maybe I can get online, maybe help somebody out. But it's there's still that struggle of trying to get a camera there and then being able to look at a camera and tell what someone's doing. And so maybe I underestimate what's possible through video, but it might be something that I spend some time thinking about, maybe doing.
The thing is, it's
it would have to be a small group of people. I wouldn't want to do a large group of people through that.
It's possible, and you could do it through this app, Dave.
Yeah, through
this app.
Yeah.
And what you can do is, because you know yourself, you can have 2 cameras set up.
Yeah.
Now you can have one on yourself, you can have one, and you can switch between them, can't you? So basically, what you could do is you could switch between them. They could switch between them, and it's right. Now we're doing this. This is what switch to this camera. Boom. Just put your other camera on. There you go. This is what I'm doing. Right, you're going to do it. You know what I mean? Quite simple, and so on and so forth. But again, it does involve commitment on the other person's behalf.
For sure. We're talking about a bit more time. So yeah, funny enough, I have actually been contemplating it a bit, and usually it takes a little time, contemplation, playing things out in your head, and then a little bit of time of trying to figure out like a curriculum kind of a thing, and then a time frame, and then meeting times for that. So I don't think it would be in the next 6 months or so before anything like that started in its infancy stages, but something I would like to do. It would be off YouTube. It would be a private thing between myself and maybe a group of people. So yeah.
Did you ever, when you were learning, at Dave?
Yeah.
Did you ever get chucked the A4? Did you ever get chucked the A4 lining project?
The what?
A4. A4. A4 paper.
Just regular paper.
Regular paper that's lined.
Oh yeah, where you just take your pen and line that. Yeah.
Just take your pen and you just line and line and line and line, pulling the straight lines.
And I would add to that too is would encourage people to get consistent hand movement too in the angle. I mean, like you could do those lines, but to get your hand consistently in the same position, like every time, practice pulling some away from you, pushing those lines with a pen, maybe wrap that pen up a little bit, boom, and then eventually start doing curves too and figuring out how to move your hand. That's great fundamentals before you even start messing with the machine.
I prefer them to use, Sharpie marker.
Oh, yeah, because then you can tell pressure, how hard you're pushing versus how light. Yeah, I think I did a video about that a long time ago. I don't remember what kind of marker I was using back then. I don't think it was a Sharpie, but it was like a soft felt tip to where you really, is it the same as skin? No, but it helped you to understand where you might be going in and out of, like skin would be, if you will.
Yeah, because the other one I did is I do apprentices like that, down doing that. And then what I do, once I got proficient with that, I threw my right curveball because I had a coil machine, Dave, which I got a coil machine set up with a pen in it. Right.
Yeah, I did.
It was the same pen that they were using, but with a grip and a coil machine. And then I'd say, right, now do it again. And I'd set the coil machine, and you won't believe how much of a curveball it threw people with that machine vibrating in their hand.
And just the weight of a coil machine at that point too is like getting your hand and muscles prepared to wield that around. We have the pen machines now and the addition of those pen needles too, which can help as well. There's definitely a place for them in the training process. But I would definitely consider a fake skin, paper, those pen things, all part of just training. You're training your hand, you're training all that stuff. And while, when you hit skin, it's like, oh my God, the depth, I can't figure that out. But it's like all this extra stuff. It's like getting in a boxing ring. It's like, you haven't learned how to box, but you've been lifting weights for a while, so you're strong. Now you have to learn how to box. It's the same thing. It's like, you can't tattoo, but you've got all these other muscles built up and things working, that it's going to help overall. I don't think there's a one solid way for every single person to progress through training tattoo wise. It's unlike other things where it's like, well, just keep painting. I'm trying to get better at painting. We'll paint more, do this and get that. Well, the real deal is on human skin. It's hard because of that. Your canvas is human skin. So it's not as easy to practice or to dedicate all your time. Like somebody was saying before, like, I don't get to tattoo all the time because of X, Y, and Z, or nobody wants to let me practice. And yeah, it's harder. Everything's harder. This is not an easy at all thing to do. People ask, like, when you're like in the military, whatnot, when you're done, would you go back and do it again? You're like, yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to. Like, I don't want to go back to the beginning because I've already done all that. You've already grunted through all this craziness. And tattooing's the same thing. Like, would you do it again? It's like, fuck, it was quite a journey. It's been quite a journey to this point. Like, yeah, I would, but knowing what I know now and how much I'm going to have to endure, sometimes not knowing what's going to happen in the process can be a good thing because you just keep pushing. What you got there, Andy?
No, just saying, because another one that I do is, the same thing as you're on with the pen.
Yeah.
What I do is I get a piece of fake skin, like that.
Yeah.
And then what I do is, again, you'll draw the lines all the way down it so far apart. They will line every single one of them, down it to get the lines in. Over the short distance, Dave, and when they've done it, I get them to line it that way. So you're basically making a crisscross.
Yeah.
Got that, they're gonna they'll end up with a mag, and then every other one of them squares they will pack black.
Oh, that's a good practice. So, yeah.
So you're making like a chessboard, so it doesn't go to waste. You can use a 7, just use a 7 mag to start with. They will pack them black. You know what I mean? And that is such a good exercise. By the time you've gone that way, packed it black, you're already rocking on to get, the muscle memory and see what you can do.
Absolutely.
It's a brilliant exercise. It is a brilliant exercise, especially when you first out and you've gone down that, on your lined paper, and then you transfer onto your first real skin and you reproduce it. And then over the short distance first, then you get it spun round, and so you're pulling your lines over the longer distance. So you're either getting to run a full line or stop and start. And then from there, you're on to packing black, from there. It's really good.
That's a good training right there. And you utilize the heck out of a piece of fake skin as well.
Yep.
Definitely good.
It's great. Honestly, it's great for your learning process, because then, plus you think about, you're doing lines, you're doing packing, but you're also doing consistency of line weights, but you're also doing consistency of keeping parallel lines, keeping them apart.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you better see whether you better see, instead of them being like that, whether you've run in, run out, or whatever.
Yeah, and then you can do another piece with another type of liner too. I mean, training is training, in my opinion.
I usually get them to do it.
It's boring, I think a lot of people want to jump in and do the fun stuff, and I get that 100%. But I think sometime training, taking your time, will definitely benefit you when you want to do those fun things.
Yeah, it's once you've got that nailed and you can pack and you can line. Once you can pack and you can line, you just start branching out.
Yes, that's it. You slowly branch out. I mean,
you slowly branch out, because you go from packing and lining, because packing black and packing colour, virtually the same. You're just packing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once you've done that, then you'll branch out. Bit of shading. You know what I mean? Curves, circles, line weights, liners, different types of shading, so on and so forth. From there, once you get that and you understand how to do them on just basic fundamental shapes. Then from there, it's going out and applying them. So you draw a circle. Right, cool. I want you to line it. So they'll line it. Boom, no problem. Right, I want you to shade it, but I want you to make it look like a sphere. So you've got to know your light, you've got to know your dark. You know what I mean? Pack it. You're going to pack from your darkest part and then whip out into your shading, Then your lightest part, you're going to shade, you're going to be shade lighter and everything. And then in your highlight in middle, you're not going to touch it.
Right.
All good stuff.
Yeah, because if you work on lining, shading, packing shapes, that's pretty much what you're doing in real life. It's just pieces of shapes that you're shading. Let's see, Josh, this will be our last question. We'll cover this and we've got to go. We're 10 minutes past our 3-hour mark. Josh White says, any advice on someone who can't get an apprenticeship and wants to go the self-taught route? So you can't get an apprenticeship right now and you want to go the self-taught route.
Cool.
A lot of advice, but be patient.
First advice, give him, Dave?
Yeah.
Jump onto my channel, take up the art challenge. Let's see your artwork first.
That's fantastic.
There's an art challenge going on. Take part in the art challenge. You only need pens and paper. Quite simple. Take part in the art challenge. Let's see where your artwork is to start with. Because we've had this conversation tonight. You are going to need some semblance of being able to draw. If you can't draw worth crap on paper, what gives you the right to draw on somebody's skin? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's permanent.
Yeah, and if you're not there, you got to work on that first,
There, I've just literally finished spouting about some fundamental basics and basic exercises that can be done using paper and pen, and so has Dave. And then moving on to fake skin, I've just give an exercise out for getting your fundamental basics in on one piece of fake skin and working at it. And if you work at it and you religiously work at it and you hone your skills, Dave's got loads of videos on his channel about needles, needle configurations, skins, and everything. Go back and watch that content. Start implementing it and that. Then come back to us with your artwork. Then come back to us, and then where do I go from here? We will give you pointers where to go from here, what exercises to undertake. Do them exercises. You'll see people sending work into this. Now, I would rather you send me, when you're learning, the exercise that when you're first out, I would rather you send me the exercise, 3 weeks running, the exercise that I've just said to you. Right, first week, short distance, draw your parallel lines, do them all with a 9 or 11 round liner. You know what I mean? Send them in, let's have a look at them. Let's see whether your saturation's good. If everything's good, turn it the long way. Draw your lines again, but this time I want you to do it with a 5 or a 7 round liner. Slightly smaller grouping. Send it in, let's have a look at them. Yeah, good. Well, you've missed a little bit of there. Right, now you got to take your mag, every other one, like a chessboard, you're going to pack it black. Make sure it touches the lines, it's wall to wall. Send it in for your 3rd week. And again, let's critique it. That way then, I'd rather see somebody developing and knowing that they're serious by undertaking, that and that challenge, even though it's mundanely boring, but it's so beneficial. I would rather see that and critique that than somebody that's just straight out at gate wanting to draw The Last Supper, in black and grey, that can't even draw Stickman.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's over at _. It's in the in the chat, guys. If you're interested, go over there, check that out, because it's if you're interested in it, you don't know where to start. We probably don't talk about it enough, but yes, I mean, having some sort of artistic drawing, any kind of background, before you get into it, like Andy said a while back. I mean, if you can't swim, you're not going to jump into an Olympic pool and just decide, okay, I know I can't draw, I know I can't swim, or very well anyhow. I'm going to go jump in this Olympic pool and try to swim to the other side, or what have you. It's just it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. So I would start there.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, guys, we got to get going. I appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't given the stream a like, I appreciate it if you do that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell so you can get notifications when we go live if YouTube decides to send those out to you. Yeah, go and subscribe to Andy's channel. Again, it's in the chat, the_tattoo_studio. Andy's there on Thursdays going live. And most of the time I'm there, but sometimes I'm not. It's hit or miss, but Andy he carries it. He carries it. No worries there, guys. But until next time, we will see you guys later.
See you later. Take care.
Take care.